What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Tuck Rule Takes, episode 31. We've eclipsed the 30 mark. We've eclipsed the Adrian Phillips mark. Nope, that's a lie. He is number 20, isn't he? Adrian Phillips. No, he's number 21. I'm all over the place.
I was going to say, hold on.
Holy shit. I am. Anyway, yeah.
We're all losing it.
Mike Sullivan here. With me, as always, Liam McDade. Liam, how's it going? I bet you didn't know I was going to ask you that, but how's it going?
I'm pretty psyched up. I'm jazzed. I haven't been this excited for a podcast basically since last week. So let's get this show on the road. I'm game.
Jazzed. Okay. I like that. If you are, it'll be a juicy podcast. If you are watching on YouTube, you'll see there's another little box here. We have another person here. Don't be alarmed. He's supposed to be here. His name is Al, Big Al, actually, not Al Horford though. Just regular Al, non-basketball Al. But pretty much like, can I call you like the king?
Less spectacular,
like the king shit of Couch Guy Sports. I feel like I can say that, right? Like you're kind of like the king.
Feels like a fair title.
That's fair.
Yeah, right.
100% fair.
Yeah, I thought so. Al, how's it going? Are you excited to be here?
I am always excited to come on and talk Pats with you guys. You two, I tell it all the time. You two are something else in the best of ways. So when I was like, hey, let's get an episode with me in there at some point, so basically bullied my way onto this, podcast.
You did.
It worked out. So, but no, seriously, I'm happy to always talk Patriots with you guys. It's always a good time.
Yeah, no, you did bully yourself onto here. And we kind of had to say yes, because like if we didn't, it's like, we're just gonna pull your podcast. So it was like, okay, Al.
Yep, I don't regret the tactics one bit. Don't regret it.
Don't blame me. If I had the power, I'd leverage it too.
Yeah, I get it. But speaking of bullying, I kind of want to get into the number one thing going on right now. I don't know what JC Jackson, what way he is trying to get the Patriots to give him a contract, but I feel like he's not going about it the way that he should. I don't know if I don't know. Are you guys aware of this JC Jackson drama? Which I know
very much so. I follow it every day.
Yeah. So I think we all kind of thought that it was definitely going to be a foregone conclusion that he'd be back, but he was. I'm looking right now. Phil Perry, NBCSports.com, wrote a whole thing about it. He said, JC Jackson said, and I quote, "I guess they feel like they don't need me. I guess I can't be that important to them. I know I am, but they're not showing me." He said a bunch of other stuff. He loves the game. He wants to play all that. He'd be willing to play on the franchise tag and everything. The last quote kind of got to me. And it was, I'll actually tell you right now, basically, I'm not going to read all of it. It's just Mr. INT deserves to get paid. He talked about himself in the third person. He used his nickname.
Sure sign of a great player if they talk about themselves in the third person.
I don't think Tom Brady ever talked about. Actually, no, we're not going to talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady's too busy making a movie anyways. But yeah, what do you guys think of this? Because I guess the Patriots haven't reached out to him since like the season ended and all that stuff. The franchise tag thing just started Tuesday, so that's the earliest teams could do it. Obviously, he hasn't hit the franchise tag yet. What do you guys think is going on with the Patriots and JC Jackson?
Special guest Al, you want to take the reins here?
Sure, I'd love to. So there's a couple ways to kind of break this down. First of all, I think the really interesting thing here is that Jackson came out and said he would play for the franchise tag. You think about it, a lot of guys in the past, they get franchise tagged. They can come up with an injury. They can hold out. They can do whatever. Look at Stephon Gilmore last year. He had an injury. I understand that. But notice how he took his sweet time to try to come back, and then he didn't play a game for the Patriots in 2021. Yep. Sure enough, See you later to Carolina. With that being said, too, I don't know if you guys saw. Did you guys see his Instagram story that he put up today?
No, I actually don't follow him, which is criminal. I got to change that.
He basically, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically was like, I was too nice this year. Going to go back to how I was. And on his Instagram, too, right, exactly, the eye roll. No, I'm with you. On his Instagram, he has two pictures left on his Instagram. One of the Pro Bowl and one running out of the Patriots tunnel. So it's interesting to see what lengths JC Jackson is going to. And you think about it, JC Jackson wants a big contract. So one of two things is either going to happen. He's going to get the money elsewhere from somebody that'll pay him as a top 5 corner. He thinks he should be top 5 corner money. Let him think that. or they franchise tag him and say, hey, we're going to pay you 1 year, a little bit more than we would normally. Let's try to take all of 2022 to come up with a long-term deal, because he'll be 26 at that point. You could probably sign him to a 4 or 5 year deal in the like 15 to 17 range, maybe. So those are one of the two things I think that's happening. Otherwise, this has happened in the past, right? It's happened with, think of all the great Patriots corners: Ty Law, Asante Samuel,
Asante,
Akeem Talib, Darrell Revis, Gilmore. And what's been the common thing? Patriots don't pay their corners, and sure enough, they walk away in free agency. Gilmore was the only one they signed to a big deal before he was here.
Yep.
So,
yeah. He said, I have it. I was looking it up as you were talking about it. Don't worry, I wasn't just chilling on my phone. He said JC Jackson put onto his thing, I was too nice this year, forgot who I was for a second. So I don't know if he's talking about I don't know if he's talking about towards the end of the year when he like wasn't great with like the rest of the team. I don't know what he's talking about that he forgot. But yeah, Liam, what do you think? What the hell is going on?
First of all, I just want to preface by saying, Al, if I am ever running a football team, you're going to be my money man. I like your long-term thinking there. But
appreciate it.
I get it.
Honestly, I think this is an entirely avoidable situation. I think the Patriots are being quite coy here. They are at the middle school dance, and they're the girl who's like kind of nervous and twiddling her fingers, looking across at like the cute boy that she wants to dance with, but she's not going to make the move. She's going to wait for him to make the moves. No, you pay this man. He has been in the top 2 of interceptions last season and this season. Yes, the end of the year was ugly. Yes, he didn't do great. I think that's an outlier. That is an exception. That's not the rule. It is so hard to find a top tier corner like this. And I was saying to Mike when we talked about him toward the end of the season, the person who led the league in picks last year was Xavier Howard. The person who led the league this year, it slips my mind right now, but it wasn't JC Jackson, but he was number 2 both years. And everyone else is different. It's constantly a shuffle from who leads the league in picks this year. Next year, it's going to be completely different. The one constant was JC Jackson. I don't care if he was number 2 and not number 1 2 years in a row. You are still in the top 2 of interceptions 2 years in a row. That's hard to do at a position where the refs don't want you to succeed, where the whole way the game is schemed is against you because defense is not what, puts asses in seats. I think you pay the man. He is a premier corner in the league. Like you said, he's young. I always think the shelf life for corners expires around the 29-30 range, like running backs. Mm-hmm. He's still got time.
We looked it up. It actually does do that. Didn't we look it up on one of the first episodes with like Richard Sherman and all of them? Yeah. It's right around 30.
So he's got time. And it's like, if you sign him to a long-term deal and heaven forbid he shits the bed in like 2 years, then that's an outlier. And you're like, hey, that normally doesn't happen. I'll take the loss on this one and the loss of money. We screwed up, but at the time it seemed like a good idea. I would rather the Patriots just enough of this cat and mouse game where they're just like trying to play like, oh, like you and me. No, pay the man, quit playing these games. We don't want to see any more of your cheapness. Ball out and get this player, because our defense was stellar and that was what this team was known for going through the season. Lock it down with one of the, if not the most important position on defense. I hate it. I hate that. And not
only that, though, right? Not only that too, right? Just real quick. Who's been the number 1 corner with the most interceptions since 2018? That's JC Jackson, friends. JC Jackson since 2018.
Word to your mother.
Since 2018 has the most interceptions amongst all corners in the league. That's ahead of guys like Xavier Howard, like Jalen Ramsey. By the way, you remember Xavier Howard wanted to get traded from Miami a couple of years ago? You guys remember that?
Mm-hmm. I think it was last year.
It might have been last year. I think it was last year. I think you're right.
After he led the league in picks, he was like, get me out of here.
No. Get me out of Miami. That he stayed.
Yeah. That sucks.
There's two ways I wanted to attack this. I'll talk about the second one after, where like just kind of just him talking like this, like what opinion you guys have of that. But just overall talking about JC Jackson, the availability of the franchise tag or whatever just got like the door just opened on Tuesday. The Patriots notoriously do not use their franchise tags early. They normally wait till the very end to do it. So it's one of those things where, okay, is there a different way to do it? Could they do it earlier? Could they not? Yeah, sure. But this is just the way they've done business. It's frustrating as a fan. whatever. I think he's going to be back. I think likely what's going to happen, they franchise tag him. It's going to be like 17 million a year pretty much, which is probably $1 million under what he's going to end up getting in free agency or by the Patriots or some other team. I think they end up franchise tagging him. He said that he'd play. Honestly, though, don't be surprised if he gets tagged and then traded. I could see that depending on what happens. Depressed. Depending on if they, I guess the corners, I don't pay attention enough to college football. I only pay attention around the draft time. I guess this year's draft class for corners is really deep. So the Patriots might draft, a stud corner or something like that, then kind of see how he plays as the year goes on. And if, Jackson and them can't come to an agreement, maybe they ship him off. I think ideally, give him the franchise tag. You're not going to give it to anybody else. You're not going to give it to Nick Folk or anybody like that. Do that, work a deal out with him. If you can't, you got to trade him. At least you won't get rid of him for nothing. Like you kind of were forced to do with Gilmore a little bit, but I think they have to tag him and then hopefully just work out a long-term deal, because Belichick letting go of Gilmore, that alone makes me think that he's thinking of JC Jackson down. Like he, in his plans on defense, JC Jackson is in those plans. He has to. But, barring some sort of player that comes available or some draft pick that, falls in their laps and, hits it out of the park or something. Even then, let's say they draft one of these stud corners. Why wouldn't it hurt to have JC Jackson sign him to a 4-year deal? Everybody's saying he's going to get 4 years, $72 million, right around there. Franchise tag him, sign him to a long-term deal. You draft a corner on his rookie contract for 4 years, trade Jackson after year 2 or year 3, and then just keep the cycle going. I think that has to be what's going on. I think if Jackson isn't on this team to start 2022, that will be, I know everybody likes to shit talk Belichick. That will be one of the times where I think every bit of criticism he gets will be warranted. You have to, I don't care how you do it. You have to have him on this team. You have the franchise tag. Just tag him. It's going to be less than,
especially when he says he's willing to do it. He's not pulling a Le'Veon Bell where he's like, I'm going to sit out. You guys won't see me for franchise.
Exactly. Tag. He's not pulling an Asante Samuel, which I kind of thought this is where it was going, where Samuel was kind of holding out. He was gripping tighter on that holdout than he was on that missed pick in 2007.
Oh, catch the ball, Asante. That hurts for a deep lover of Asante Samuel. God damn.
Liam, I wanted to say it to you. These comments. Now I kind of just want to talk about the comments there. When has this ever worked for a Patriots player?
Never.
So begs the question. First of all, you had the nickname Mr. INT. We all love it when you're here. That's awesome. Don't say I got to get paid. I got to do that. It's time to do that. Looks like they don't want me. This and that. Dude, shut.
You look desperate. He looks desperate.
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, he looks like someone. Look. The thing is, he has zero leverage because the Patriots can tag him and say, what now? Now you have to play. And I understand him wanting money. He's only gotten, I think, like $800,000 like last year, I think is what he got, or somewhere around there. I think it was a little less actually, because he was still on his
plan
rookie
for
year.
chump change.
I get that he wants money, and he even brought that up. He was like, where I am, I forget what the quote was, but it was basically saying like, coming where he's from, where you don't have that much money growing up, all that stuff, you want to make money. Of course you do, but this isn't the way to do it. You don't play hardball with Bill Belichick, because Bill Belichick will say, do you know who else tried to play hardball with Bill Belichick? I believe Richard Seymour did. He went to the Raiders. I believe Vince Wilfork did. He ended up
Ty Law
did. Where'd Ty Law go?
Kansas City, have fun.
Lawyer Malloy. Where'd Lawyer Malloy go?
Buffalo.
Gone. You don't play hardball with Bill Belichick.
Tom Brady played hardball with him. He's like, peace out the back door.
So I will say this. You guys might not like this, but there's a way that if you lose JC Jackson, it could not be that bad. But these 3 things need to happen. Number 1, Jonathan Jones needs to be healthy, because that's something that
Mike's a huge JJ guy.
Huge piece.
Huge piece. Because we forget last year, what type of defense does Bill Belichick like to run? Man-to-man. He loves having the corners play man-to-man straight up. He had to settle for more zone looks when Jones was out because Jackson was their only reliable corner. So that's the first thing that has to happen. Second thing, you have to sign a corner in the offseason. I think it was Pro Football Focus had, and I know we're going to talk about another potential Patriot signing the Pro Football Focus had in a little bit. But one that they had was Charvarius Ward out of Kansas City. Now, he's a guy that is quick. He does well in man-to-man coverage, and we know the Patriots love to play man-to-man coverage. So if Jones is healthy, you sign a guy like Charvarius Ward, and you draft a kid like Mike was saying, because with such a deep draft, now at least you have 3 corners that could probably play. You have a healthy Jones, Ward, insert player here. I'm not saying it's going to necessarily replace the production of J.C. Jackson, but it softens the blow a little bit.
Do you think they still tag him in that case and trade him for an asset or something like that?
Truthfully,
that's what you're talking about, or what do you think?
Truthfully, I think if they tag him, I think they want to work out a long-term deal, because they could very easily just say, all right, your money's off the books. Go get your money in free agency. Have a team like, I don't know, I'm just throwing some random teams out there, like a Denver or a Chargers, or who's a team that has the Chiefs, the Jaguars have a lot of cap room. The Bengals have a lot of cap room.
I could see the Ravens going after him. I don't know why. He strikes me as someone that would be on the Ravens.
Yeah, because
it'd be real rude to send him to Jacksonville. I'd hate to see that.
Listen, they're trying to build.
If he wants to play, if he wants to play this game,
building a stick house,
send him. But Al, can you use your foresight to think how the amount of crucifying that would happen if Bill Belichick let J.C. Jackson do that? Leave in especially when the franchise tag was looming there, where he at the very least could still use that, and then trade him away for something. I get what you're saying. To be honest, if what you're saying happens, where say he leaves, goes, signs wherever the hell he wants to go, and then the Pats get Ward, they draft someone, Jonathan Jones is healthy, I'll be happy with that too. But I have to think they tag him at the very least to try to work out a deal. But to still obviously try to, maybe if they can sign someone great, if they can draft someone great, but tag them just so then they can use that as a trade piece too. You know what I mean?
I do. So let me bring it back to something, Mike, you mentioned earlier. Lawyer Malloy, right? We were all surprised in 2003 when Lawyer Malloy got cut before week 1, and then Buffalo picks him up 5 days later. Now, let me ask you two an honest question. Do you think Belichick cuts Lawyer Malloy if they didn't bring in Rodney Harrison that same offseason?
No.
So if J.C. Jackson does walk and Belichick lets him walk, I agree with the point that there's going to be a lot of questioning. The Boston sports media is going to go nuts with it. They're going to say, oh, Belichick's at it again. He doesn't want to pay the players. It sucks, Mike. They suck. But it's going to be – but I really do think he's going to have a plan in place to replace J.C. Jackson, or at least get a couple guys that can match up to Jackson's actual skill level.
Yeah, as much as I can, I guess. I mean, he's like he's
a baller. He is.
He's good. He's. Would you say he's a? It's kind of an easy question. Top 3 corner. Would you say he's a top 3 corner in the league?
At least top 5.
Because I think you put. Who do you put in there? Do you put Jalen Ramsey? Do you put Tre'Davious White over him? Other than those two, I don't even know if I put Jalen Ramsey in there. But I would definitely put Trey White in there. Even though he's on the Bills, but I would still put him in there.
No, he's pretty good.
If he wasn't top 3, 100% top 5.
Marlon Humphrey, Marshawn Lattimore.
Humphrey's good. Marshawn Lattimore's a beast.
Yeah, at worst, like you said though, Al, he's top 5. You gotta at least have him on your team so you can use it as a trade chip if you want. I think
hell, you can get value for him too. Like if you want an offensive
he's
piece,
25.
If you want a middle of the range or above average running back or like a good wide receiver, I'd be down to ship out JC for like a weapon on offense.
Or picks. Would you take picks?
Oh,
would you take picks for him?
Picks are a different story because I kind of side with the Rams mentality to win a Super Bowl, where it's like, go get the talent now. I believe in the veterans. I've always been a big veteran guy. I will play the veteran 10 times out of 10 over the rookies type deal. Mm-hmm. If you want to harbor home talent and get to a Super Bowl that way, cool, more power to you. That's how they did it. But I'm a firm believer of go get proven talent right now. Don't trust some jackass kid who just spent 4 years of college ripping bong at 9 a.m. to change your franchise.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's honestly a good way to put it, because it's like, you want to take, even if you're proven commodity, might not be as good as the unknown one. You don't know for sure if the unknown commodity is even going to be as good as you think. So yeah, no, that
the
was
evil you know might be better than the evil you don't know.
okay. Yeah, that was more like, put a bow on it better than my saying, but
Yeah.
you got the point. I don't know why you had to like say the same thing
Just
I
want to
said,
make
but
you
in
look
a better
stupid.
way.
Yeah.
Stupid. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think do you think JC Jackson, that there's an actual, that he has any sort of animosity towards them? Is this just him kind of posturing a little bit? Do you think that his statements are going to impact him coming back here in any way? Because I don't think they will, because I think Belichick at the end of the day is just kind of like, whatever. If you're a good player, I want you regardless of what you say about me. Like,
you don't think Bill's looking at his Instagram story and going, "Oh no, you're right. He forgot who he was." Oh no.
Oh no.
Let me check the old him.
Let me check my snap face real quick too while I'm at it.
Yeah, it's that meme of Bugs Bunny holding the revolver. Have you guys seen that one where he's like, "Oh God, don't make me go back to the old me"? That's JC Jackson. It's like, no, we want you to be the old you, just be the old you with us.
Exactly.
But
Bill's gonna send him a Snapchat with like the spider filter along his face, being like, "We'll sign you to the max," just to cheer him up.
Yep.
Honestly, with JC Jackson, I think it's going to be a case where he's looking for a certain number. He's going to take a look at the market, and he's going to know, because we think about this, right? There was one situation, I was listening to 98.5 and Sports Hub earlier today, and they brought up a decent point. Donta Hightower a few years ago, they let him go in free agency and test out the waters. And then they saw what the market was offering, and they made sure to give him an offer that he couldn't refuse. That's why he was back here. Mm-hmm. So who's to say that Belichick's not like, you know what, JC, go test out the waters, see what they're giving out. If it's over, 18, 19, 20 million a year, best of luck. But if not, we'll match it and we'll bring you back for a 3, 4, 5-year contract.
I think 20, if it's 20 million, I think their range is in that 18. Just to touch on what you said with Donta Hightower, people forget Julian Edelman almost left. He was almost with the Niners.
Yeah.
Like everybody forget the Patriots do this with every single player they have. These players go out and they either test free agency, or they, unbeknownst to everybody, they test free agency without people knowing, and they come back, or sometimes they don't. But yeah, Edelman did that same thing. He almost signed with the Niners, but then he came back and became my favorite Patriots player ever. Fuck you, Tom Brady. Liam, what do you think? What do you think about just the statements in general? Do you think that it's going to impact at all him coming back?
No, I mean, I think it's irrelevant. He shouldn't have done it. I mean, he probably just feels salty. He takes this personally. This is his play. This is his career. And everyone, not just the people he's working for, judges play. Trial by popular opinion, I guess. So he's just trying to, I don't know, make himself feel better in a sense, to warrant a big contract. He probably feels like he should be the highest paid corner in the league historically. There's no corner better than him ever. Prime time couldn't hold a candle to him. I'm sure he thinks the world of himself. All athletes do. It's just one of those things where he's trying to make himself feel better. Like Al said, it almost seems like some sort of insecurity thing where he's just kind of stewing, and he's seeing other offers go out to other corners. I'm sure he talks to other corners in the league, and the Patriots do this thing where they wait it out. Like you said, they don't sign anyone till late in the offseason, and they let all their players sit there and stew. They'll go into the offseason like, man, I killed it this year. And then a couple months into the offseason, they're like, no offers. Maybe I didn't kill it. And then like a month later, they're like, still no offers. Oh no. And then the Patriots come in with the deal, and they're like, all right, I guess I got to take it, because seems to be the only offer I'm getting. Yeah. And when the Patriots were a dynasty, like with Tom Brady and whatnot, there was buying power from other teams, because whether they were going to win or not, and they likely weren't going to beat the Patriots, they were trying to take guys away. So anyone who is a free agent from the Patriots, Gronk, Edelman, anyone, they're just going to throw the bag at them. Even if they don't need them, they just want to get them away from New England. Now, not so much. Now, I don't think people are as scared of the Patriots. So if he were to test the waters, unless it's like Jacksonville and they're just humming piles of money at him, they break out the Brinks trucks. For the most part, I'm sure he'll go out there and look and see that, gee, Marcus Peters is making not that much money. Jalen Ramsey, who's apparently the best corner in the league, really isn't making all that much money. I could probably get a comparable deal, maybe just shy with the Patriots. Hopefully he'll come to his senses and sign that deal.
Do you think, and this is a question for both of you guys, do you think, well, first let me ask, do you think that JC Jackson is a big trail guy? Do you think he goes on the trail a lot? Do you think? Because I think I think if he does, you could probably throw in an exogun, or at the very least, what you could do, you could probably give him the code CGS10 to go, use that upon checkout when he gets his exogun. Do you know how much he gets off? I actually know. I know you guys don't know. I'll tell you. You get 10% off when you use that code at checkout. See, you can see it. You see the little, if you're watching, Al's doing the 1-0, the little finger things. Again, you can use it wherever you want. Comes with a case. It's awesome. He can bring it to Foxborough. He can bring it on the road, wherever he wants to go. He can let Devin McCourty use it as well, because I think Devin McCourty's coming back as well. But yeah, again, maybe if you throw in an exogun, you give him that code CGS10 at checkout, 10% off. Obviously, you guys know that. Maybe that'll help, but I don't know. I do also
at least throw it in as a clause, like 5 picks, you get an exogun.
Dude, let me tell you, if you tell him about the percussion therapy, the rapid pulsating strokes that helps with the percussion therapy, I think that's going to bring him in. But I will also say this:
love pulsating
I think
strokes.
that we can all appreciate how great that transition was by me.
I was just about to say, very well done.
It was marvelous.
I was thinking about it for like 15 minutes.
I had no idea where you were going with that. I was like,
damn right.
Wait, and then it popped in my head. I was like, oh, transition, loophole. Nice job, Mike.
The trail, yeah.
Strokes.
Yeah, on the trail. But yeah, JC Jackson, I think we're all in agreement. The first choice would be to have him back.
Yes.
Have him back. I think no matter what, the Patriots still draft a corner. Whether it's a high corner, late round corner, whatever it is. I think they still draft one. But I think if you're looking on defense, the first thing you have to do is either tag JC Jackson or work out a long-term deal. It looks like right now it's going to be the tag. That's fine. And then just kind of work from there. I know everybody wants a linebacker that, can run, fast linebacker and all that. I think that's maybe the second thing. But first and foremost, you got to bring JC Jackson back. But if you're looking on offense, the number one or one of the big issues,
these transitions
that people that I came to pod today. I came to pod today. That's what I came to.
You put in some prep.
I don't know.
You're on the game
you guys came to do, but this is my job. I don't know what you guys do. But anyways, as I was saying, before I was rudely interrupted, something surprising came across my screen when I was kind of perusing Twitter today. JuJu Smith-Schuster is projected to be signed by the New England Patriots. I kind of want to set the stage because I have a feeling I'm going to differ my opinion from probably both of you guys here. But JuJu Smith-Schuster is a free agent. He has played, I have his stats pulled up. I know last year he got hurt. He only played 5 games. Didn't play well at all. 15 catches, $129, nothing crazy. 2020, he played 16 games, 97 catches for 831 yards. That's pretty good. Year before that, 2019, 12 games, 42 catches, 552. Obviously, he was injured a little bit there. The 1 year where he played probably his best was 2018. I believe he was a Pro Bowler that year. 111 catches, 1426, 1,426 yards. He's very good. He's a free agent. What are your guys' opinion on JuJu Smith-Schuster from TikTok fame being on the New England Patriots?
Do you want to take this, Liam, or would you like me to? Well, actually, Liam, I want to hear Liam
go
first.
If you want. I'll go.
No. We know where you stand. I want to know what he said. I want to know what he thinks.
No, I don't want Boo Smith-Schuster.
Ah, you're terrible.
Absolutely not.
You're awful.
No,
you're
I don't
awful.
want it.
You guys are. You're awful.
He's ass.
You're
And
awful.
if I can play devil's advocate with myself here, a little like fighting with my own.
Yeah.
Yes, he did have
The
Ben
angel and
Roethlisberger
devil
who
on your
could.
shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. Big Ben couldn't push the ball downfield. I get it. That probably affected his numbers. At the same time, though, I don't want any more Albert Hainsworth, Chad Ochocinco signings to the Patriots where Bill's like, I'm going to fix him. No, you're not. Don't deal with it. This dude's a nutcase. There's clearly something wrong with that whole team. And whatever is his problem has leaked over to Chase Claypool, who's celebrating first downs when there's 13 seconds left and ruining games. Like, there's a whole environment issue with that Steelers offense and their wide receivers where they all think they're the Rams receiving core and they're all hyped up. They're not that good. JuJu had that incredible year where he won team MVP, had the 1,400 yards, went to the Pro Bowl. Antonio Brown was pissed because he didn't get team MVP, didn't get the recognition JuJu did. It was all because everyone was paying attention to, at that point, the greatest receiver in the league, Antonio Brown, completely inflated JuJu's stats because he was a rookie. No one's paying attention to the fucking rookie. He had great catches. He had made killer plays. But since then, I haven't seen anything that would make me desire JuJu. I think he's going to the Jets or one of these irrelevant teams. Whatever contract we would sign him for, it's not worth the money or not worth the production we would be getting from him. He's not a game changer. He's not going to blow up and have this great comeback year with the Patriots. I don't want him. If we're going to get a wide receiver, it's got to be stellar. It's got to be a splash. I want a Randy Moss type action. Get me Cooper Kupp. Get me Hollywood Brown even. Like, just give me somebody who's like, has a lot of potential or is already a proven star. I like Hollywood Brown. All right. I saw your faces there. That was just the other name that came to mind, but he's a splash player. You can go deep. You can give him an end around. He's versatile. He'd be perfect in Bill's offense or, not McDaniel's offense anymore. So I'm just going to say it's
Joe
Bill's
Judge's
offense.
offense.
Yeah. Joe Judge's offense, somebody's offense, but he'd be a perfect weapon for him. I don't want JuJu. I don't like what he's got. He's kind of a bum ass and I don't want that anywhere near this Patriots team.
All right, I've waited. I've waited patiently. So.
This was also put out by WEEI, who are a bunch of rejects. I would rather I would rather get jumped by a gaggle of silverback apes than have the Patriots sign JuJu Smith.
Real quick thing, but not even to talk about WEI or anything like that at all. By the way, Pro Football Focus also kind of said it too. That I think that's where it came from.
I trust them even less.
Favorite type of monkey, gorilla, ape. Go.
Oh, orangutan, easily. Big
Al?
ball.
An ape. I don't know. That question, that was a curveball if I've ever heard one.
What about baboons with that giant pink ass?
The correct answer is definitely orangutan.
Orangutans
are awesome. And then you have the silverback gorilla because they are just.
Can I change the silverback gorilla? Can I change it to that?
Silverback gorillas are awesome.
Right.
Of course you can.
Okay.
Of course you can.
Sweet.
Are you kidding me?
You could have picked proboscis monkeys too with the giant nose.
With the penis noses?
Looks like a
All right. So I've been patient. So here's my thing. Now you guys can take this for how you want, but hear me out here. JuJu Smith-Schuster to the Patriots would actually be a really good signing for a couple of reasons. First of all, he would be cheap. That's the big thing.
I don't think he'd be that cheap.
He's not going to cost you. I don't think he's going to cost you more than $10 million. I think that's the limit of where he would get money. You got to think about it this way. Okay.
Why?
He turned down a multi-year contract with the Chiefs to bet on himself. You take a look at the stats again. The 2 years, right? The 2 years that he was healthy the whole season, 111 receptions, 97 receptions. That's 100 receptions a year guy. 7 touchdowns and 9 touchdowns. He's a legitimate scoring threat. Mm-hmm. You bring him into this offense, right? It's not going to break the bank. Give Mac Jones that number one receiver and your wide receiver.
Is he a number one receiver? Because the only time he's played good is when he was a number two receiver.
Well, guess what? He still can put up the numbers to be a number one receiver. And guess what? He ain't staying in Pittsburgh, my friends, because guess what? That QB situation is going to be terrible. Mason Rudolph is going to be terrible. They're going to probably draft
They'll probably get Jimmy G. I think.
I was just going to say, when they get Jimmy G.
Who's the kid? I think he's from Liberty that they want to get, the quarterback. I forget his name off the top of my head. But you think about this, right? And I'm going to throw in an added on move. So this isn't the only move. Let's think about this. Yeah, I'm going to throw. Stay with me here.
Value
guys.
meal. Okay.
It's going in.
Value meal.
Let's go.
You
Al
signed,
came to pod today, people.
yeah, listen, you said you were the
I
only
gotta
one that
step
came
on
to
my
pod.
game.
I'm ready to play, baby. Let's go. But you signed JuJu to a 1-year contract. And then I don't know if you guys saw this, but Bovada came out with the odds. Calvin Ridley plus 330 to end up a Patriot next year. Now think about
That's
this.
what I'm talking about.
Think about this.
Right, I saw that.
Think about this. You sign JuJu, you trade for Ridley. Now Ridley's probably going to cost you a 2nd-round pick. JuJu, let's say he signs on for $10 million. You're signing $10 million essentially for 2 wide receivers. You can get rid of N'Keal Harry. And if you want, you can also trade Nelson Aguilar too if you really want. Because guess what? Next year, if you have Calvin Ridley, JuJu Smith-Schuster, Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers, the 2 tight ends, Damian Harris, and that offensive line coming back with Mac Jones in his 2nd year with some consistency, you telling me that offense wouldn't be good next year and can run train in the AFC East?
My shorts just got tighter. No, and by the
Mine
way,
didn't.
if you trade,
Did I hear you're
if
trading
you trade,
Nelson Aguilar?
If
Yes.
you trade Aguilar, that frees up $8 million in cap space.
I don't want to do it.
Just
I
saying.
refuse.
Then you don't
Just
want
saying.
the offense to get better. Then
That's a false.
isn't
Wait,
he on a
hold on.
wait? Isn't he on a 2-year deal anyway?
Yeah.
No, 3.
So
I think it's 3 with an
Is it
option
3?
for 4.
Yeah.
Keep talking. I'll find out. Keep talking.
No, you're fine. But here's the thing. Nelson Aguilar, he didn't really do much last year. And he's a guy that's been kind of dicey.
No one did much. Kendrick Bourne.
Was better. Kendrick Bourne, I think, was better than Nelson Aguilar. Jacoby Myers was better. Jacoby Myers was better than Nelson
Hold
Aguilar.
on, real
No
quick,
one
though,
eclipsed 1,000 yards.
With the Patriots, though, and I think, Liam, we've talked about this numerous times, you have to kind of, because like JuJu Smith didn't do much. I don't want to trade him. It's one of those things where I think you have to kind of check your stats at the door when you come to the Patriots. But it's tough not to say that Aguilar did somewhat underperform.
Right.
But should he be traded? It depends on what you get. So I'm sorry, keep going. I got
No, you're fine.
You were right. It is a 2-year deal. 2-year,
Okay,
$24 million.
So even better. So now he's on the
traded.
2nd year of his deal. You can trade him, free up that $8 million, like Mike said. And listen, it would only be if they were to sign both JuJu and trade for Ridley, because you got to think about the top wide receivers in this upcoming free agency class. Are they probably going to get Chris Godwin? Probably not. Devontae Adams is going to follow Aaron Rodgers, whether it's in Green Bay or Denver. You're probably not going to get Allen Robinson, even though that's a realistic target. I could see a team like Miami going to get him. Don't forget, Miami's going to want to add too. So you're in division trying to compete, and they're going to make moves. And they have a lot of money in cap space. So they got to make a move, and they know it. So if you get JuJu, I'm not saying he's the number 1 move, but if those guys are off the board and JuJu's still on the board and you can bring him in on a 1-year deal, maybe even a 2 with an opt-out after the 1st year or whatever, it can only help. That's my main thing.
I don't think they get Ridley and JuJu though. Besides
they
last
won't.
offseason. Yeah, but like
they probably won't, but it's a thought that you can.
It's a thought. But it's a wishful thought, because before this last offseason, when has Bill ever splurged on anything ever? Like, he normally doesn't just stockpile assets like that. If you're going to pick a wide receiver, are you picking the dude that's, dancing on the logo, posting to all his TikTok fans before the game? Or are you going to pick Calvin Ridley, who's a big baller from Alabama, which Bill eats, sleeps, breathes, and snorts Alabama? I mean, the options are clear there. You go with Calvin Ridley. Forget JuJu. Don't even bother spending the money on him when you could trade for Ridley and sign him.
Mike, can you do me a favor while you're on your laptop? Can you look up the Patriots cap space coming into this offseason?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I already know that stuff. I told you I came ready.
All
Patriots have right now. Patriots have about $8 million to spend, but if they extend people, release who they're supposed to, whatever, they should be getting. Sorry, Siri keeps going on from my watch. I don't know why. They should be getting about $8 million additional if they extend people, or do like they could extend Kendrick Bourne, they could extend JuJu Smith, they could transfer thing. Pat's Cap on Twitter, go follow him. He is the best person on Twitter to break down all the Patriots cap stuff. The Patriots will likely make about $8 million in cap space without getting rid of anybody. So ideally they'll have 15 to 16 million bucks to play with. I'm trying to find out if it is $8 million that that the Pats get if they do trade Aguilar. But I remember seeing it's either 7, 8, or 9 million. One of that.
Okay, so now, right, Liam, think about this. If you can get 8 million more on top of the 8 million that you have by getting rid of some of the old timers, like I don't know about like Hightower. I don't know if he's going to come back. I don't know if guys like Slater are going to come back or McCourty. So let's just say, for the sake of it, you get that money. You trade Aguilar, you get that money. So you're at 16. Let's just say it's 8 million. You're at 24 million now. You're telling me that you wouldn't want for 2 receivers to spend 8 to 10 million, trade away a second round pick, which who knows if you're going to use it, bring in 2 wide receivers, and then subtract 2, one that is adequate at best and the other one that shouldn't even be on the roster?
I mean,
I have Nelson Aguilar stats.
Oh, okay. Yeah, please.
Contract stats just for you guys. If they trade him on March 16th after 4 p.m.,
hey, that's my birthday.
They will save $9.1 million.
Even better.
If they cut him, they'll say, well, actually, no, that doesn't. No, we're not going to talk about cutting. If they extend him a year, they'll save $4 million.
Okay.
I'm happy with either one. So sorry, keep going. Sorry, I finally found the info. I had to get it out there. I've been freaking looking for the last like 5 minutes. So
appreciate you looking, but it's just, I understand this is all ideal scenario, but if you want to compete in the AFC, Belichick just can't sit on his ass anymore. He can't just sit back. He splurged last offseason. We get it. Brought in Hunter Henry, brought in JuJu Smith, brought in Matt Judon, brought in Devon Godchaux, brought in Kendrick Bourne. He brought in a lot, but there's still not that number 1 receiver. Why is Bovada coming out with these odds and everything else if they don't know something? I'm not saying Ridley's going to be a Patriot tomorrow, but what I'm saying is they know that there's probably some rumblings going around between the Patriots and the Falcons, besides, the Falcons blowing 28-3 lead. But also with that, why wouldn't you take a shot on a receiver that is 25 years old, has been in the league for 5 years, and can help bring this offense to another level?
I know I'm sold, but I'm not sold on JuJu.
So with JuJu, but the main thing or the main issue, first of all, I don't want JuJu. Let's just I don't think I said what my opinion was. One thing, I don't think the Patriots will get him because, well, everything you said, Al, was correct. Where he bet on himself, he got hurt. Our team's going to want to give him a long-term deal. Who knows? I guess he's projected to get a 1-year, $8 million contract. Great. I think there's a team out there that's going to outbid the Patriots. That's how I see it. So I don't think he's going to get here. I think the only way the Patriots get like a big name receiver like this is via trade. So that's why I'm thinking Calvin Ridley. I'm pushing all my chips in for Calvin Ridley because I like him. I think he's due $11 million, which I guess would be more than the projected cap number for JuJu, but that's just a number pulled out of space. We don't know what that number is going to be. Now, if you can get JuJu for $8 million and Calvin Ridley would cost 11, there's still the chance the Seahawks might trade DK Metcalf if Russell Wilson ends up leaving. Screw everybody. I want DK Metcalf if he's available. Because I think he's still on his rookie deal. So I think he's due like $2 million or $4 million or something. So bring him over here. Completely, gloss over the mistake of drafting N'Keal Harry over him.
Don't even get me started on DK Metcalf.
Yeah, let me ask you guys a quick question. And this is just a genuine question for you two specifically. Let's say hypothetically, right? Godwin's off the board. Robinson's off the board. Let's say Ridley gets traded elsewhere. Let's say the only options are JuJu and the next receiver. You two have made it clear you don't want him. That's fine. My question to you two is, what would the next option be? Who could the Patriots realistically get if all the big names are gone and you can't get a trade? You can't get a team to work a trade. So essentially free agency.
So I'm looking at the wide receiver free agency list right now. Jamison Crowder. Sort of interested in T.Y. Hilton. He's over the hill, but he'd be cool if you could get him for cheap as a deep threat. Zach. Oh, Mike Williams from the Chargers.
Now that's a name. That's intriguing.
Now that's a name. I think he's he's an unrestricted free agent. Oh, he's a jump ball threat, big body receiver. I would lie, cheat, beg, borrow, and steal, cause a scene of biblical proportion to get Mike Williams. in a
Okay, that's a
Patriots
fair
jersey.
name. That's a very fair name.
So I think if you can't get, say Metcalf isn't available, like you said, say Ridley goes somewhere else, Allen Robinson gone. I don't, and Juju, I don't think they go wide receiver that's in the NFL. I think they draft Mechie from Alabama.
I'd be okay with that.
That's what I think. I don't think, I think if you can't get, because let's just be honest, DK Metcalf is a pipe dream because other things would have to happen for that to happen. Amari Cooper isn't leaving the Cowboys. We know that he's gone.
Not like we want him anyway.
So $24 million cap hit.
Nope,
If the
Andy sucks. I wouldn't give him $2 million.
If it well, actually, another name though, Michael Gallup is available too. So I don't know. I would
do
like him,
Michael
but again,
Gallup.
I don't want him to be the number one. If we're talking, because I think Mac Jones does, and I hate that I'm going to say it. I hate it so much. I do think that Mac Jones does need a number one receiver. Now, if it's not Calvin Ridley, and Juju say you're outbid by him, or it's more than 8 million, whatever happens, don't get anybody else. Draft Mechie. You can get him in the vast majority of the mock drafts I've seen. They all have the Patriots taking him in the second or third round. So I would take him. He's already on the same wavelength as Mac Jones, because they both played. I think the 1 year they played, he had a shit ton of yards. They played awesome together. I do agree though that they do need to get something there. Now, if you can, Al, your pipe dream of trading away Aguilar. I'm not even going to bring up N'Keal Harry because he's not even a real person to me anymore.
Gone.
But if you can trade away Aguilar and get Juju for 8 million, if you can get Calvin Ridley for 11 million, because I think Calvin Ridley still has a couple of years left on his deal, if I remember correctly. I'll double check. The issue that I'm coming across with Juju, do you think, okay, say he is the option. Say you can get him for 1 year, $8 million. Do you like what that to me is, unless you can work out a long-term deal, it's somewhat wasted money. Because do you think that Juju is what puts you over the top to make it, because this is what we all want, to make it to the Super Bowl? Because I think that's what Belichick's trying to go to right now. Bust. Now, again, Juju is good. The talent is there. I don't think anybody can question that. The talent is clearly there. It's the character. We don't know how he is. Again, he was also on a team with Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin's a great coach, but I don't think Mike Tomlin is a player's coach. So he's going to let players kind of do what they want, which, I mean, we saw. Liam, you brought up Claypool, Juju, all that fun stuff. AB recording in the locker room and everything.
Yeah.
Do you think that, who would you rather have, JuJu Smith-Schuster on a 1 year deal or Calvin Ridley for 2 years, and maybe you can work out something? It'll be more money, most likely, if I remember correctly. But Ridley has to be the first option.
Oh, in that case,
to get him.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's not even a choice. Like, obviously, you go with Ridley.
Yeah, 100% you go with Ridley. The only thing I'm saying is if the market is going to present itself how it is, where Godwin's probably going to get big money somewhere else. Robinson, I don't think is coming here, although I would love him to come here. And you can't get Ridley. I'm just saying, if Juju is the option, it's not a bad option to have. And I think for 1 year, you can have him kind of elevate the offense a little bit more. It's not going to a Super Bowl, but don't forget this. The defense has a lot of question marks too. So the offense can put up, 28 to 31 points a game, but if the defense can't stop a nosebleed, which there's a lot of questions about that defense, then no, they're not.
How many questions they are? I stopped doubting Bill Belichick and his defense back in 2007. Whatever Bill puts out there, they're going to lock it down. You could have the Lollipop Guild out there, and they're still holding people to 17 points.
Stupid. Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is 28. Juju is 25, going on 26. I hate that this is happening. I have kind of started to come around on signing Juju. I don't like him. Like, let's just get that right. I don't like him, but I'm okay. Hear me. This pie in the sky. This is what I would want the Patriots would do. Because if they get Juju, look at it this way. If they sign any receiver that's in the league right now, Nelson Aguilar is gone. Like, we can just kind of say that because they're not going to keep Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers. Actually, Jacoby Myers is an unrestricted free agent, so who knows? But they're not going to keep Aguilar, Bourne, maybe Myers, and Ridley or JuJu or someone like that, and then still have the 2 tight ends that they have to feed as well. So if they sign one of these receivers, any receiver that's in the league right now, Nelson Aguilar probably gone. Jacoby Myers might even be gone. I think the best way, I still just want them to draft a receiver. That's what I would want. But if they draft a receiver, they could draft that kid from Alabama. They could sign, and I hate that I have to say it, they could sign JuJu, but I still, no, I don't want them to sign JuJu. Enough. I'm trying to do the mental gymnastics.
Right,
can you tell? Because my mind's in a pretzel. I don't want them to sign JuJu. I want Calvin Ridley. If you can't get Calvin Ridley, draft Mechie and just roll with Aguilar, Bourne, Myers, and Mechie. Aguilar's done at the end of the year, so maybe you trade him by the deadline. Maybe you trade him in the offseason if Mechie is, this guy you want him to be. I know everybody wants the Patriots and Mac Jones to have this number 1 receiver. I think Mechie could be that guy because him kind of in the same vein as Burrow and Jamar Chase. Now, obviously, Chase is a different league. We understand that. But I think that would be better than getting JuJu. Goddamn, but I could see them getting JuJu. I want Calvin Ridley. That's where I'm going to end this whole thing. I want Calvin Ridley.
But they don't get both, is my point.
If you can't get Calvin Ridley.
They won't get both.
Yeah.
No. Now, because I feel like more cap stuff would have to happen, and they'd have to let go of people that we don't want them to let go of. So I don't know. I think contract wise, if you're talking, let's just say JuJu is going to get the $8 million, which that's not even a foregone conclusion. That was just a projection thing from PFF, from Pro Football Focus. We have no idea if that's what he's going to get. There might be a team like the Dolphins. I could see the Dolphins coming in and throw in, 10, 11 million at him to try to get him to come there. Not only would you pull him away from an AFC East, an AFC East rival, but then you get him on your team too with Tua, who, think what you want about Tua, but if you get him JuJu, that's fun.
Tua.
I don't. But yeah, I don't know. This is a wild time to be a Patriots fan because there are so many. The foundation is built. The concrete has been poured. You have Mac Jones, you have Damian Harris, you have Ramondre Stevenson, you have an offensive line that's here for another couple of years. I signed Trent Brown. Signing Trent Brown should be the priority over everybody.
Yeah.
But you have people. You can always draft offensive linemen too. Belichick does a really good job doing that. But you have the core for what you're trying to build. Now you're just trying to find the best piece to get you to the next level. And I think if you can get JuJu, Liam, because you're like me, you don't want JuJu. If you can get JuJu for 3 years, whatever the numbers are, just say it's a contract that doesn't break the bank.
Let's say 3 for 27. Let's say
yeah. Why not? Or whatever the years are for whatever the number is for the next 2 years. Would you take JuJu then? Is it because to me, I think right now it's just the 1 year thing. If you can get him for 3 years on the cheap, then I'd be more open to it. I'd still prefer other people, but if that's what they do, I'd be fine with that. Liam, what say you? 3 years, 20. What'd you say? 3 years, 26 million? No.
26, 17, whatever it is, I don't want him. Why would he's not even the number 1 receiver after Antonio Brown left. It's Deontay Johnson who gets the bulk share of the catches in that core, mostly because the other 2 are jackasses. But why would we spend any money on a number 2 receiver unless he has potential to become a number 1? I said Mike Williams because right now he's a number 2 receiver, but he's number 2 behind Keenan Allen, who is clear-cut top 5 in the league, one of the best wide receivers in the league. Mike Williams is in a situation where if he were to leave his team, he could blow up and be the number 1 on another team. We've seen it with other receivers before. If we get Mike Williams, then there's potential for rise. If we get JuJu, I don't see what would his ceiling be realistically for the Patriots? Another 97 catch season with like 8 or 9 touchdowns? No, I don't want that. I want dominance. I want taking over. I want what Mike Williams could possibly do, which would be in the range of 11 to 13 touchdowns, give us a serious deep route, a red zone threat where Mac Jones just snaps the ball, takes one step back, hums it to the corner to our big receiver. JuJu's not making contested catches. The only thing he's got going for him is his route running. And if he's lazy for any reason, if his head's not in the game, that goes out the window. He's no longer effective. I wouldn't want to spend any money on a number 2 receiver unless he can become the man.
You do understand 97 receptions in a season, 8-9 touchdowns in a season. It's pretty good, right?
It's good. Yes, it's above
average.
Just
said it, but you just said it was bad.
For the money, I don't want to spend any money on somebody who would be giving us just above average. If we can get somebody who will could become a number 1 receiver, I just don't see it from JuJu. That's why I'm saying Mike Williams, if we were to get him, I could see him hovering in the 11 to 13 touchdown range with 1,000 yards. And
Williams could be good. He could be very good.
I don't think he'd get 97 catches either, because he's a different type of receiver. He's he's a 4 catches a game, a touchdown and 70 yards type guy right now. With the Patriots, 6 catches, 120 yards, and a touchdown or 2 in most games. Like, I'll take that. That's big play. What are we getting from JuJu? I haven't seen anything since that Antonio Brown year that has even remotely impressed me. And if he can't beat out Deontay Johnson to be the clear-cut number 1, bar none, no questions asked, best receiver on that team, I don't want him.
How many years has Deontay Johnson been in the league?
Like 5.
Has he really been around that long?
He's been around for an odd long time, yeah.
Really? Okay. So I thought he was younger than
Look
that.
it up, but
I got it.
I mean, he gets the lion's share. Big Ben. And maybe that's just Big Ben's preference. That's his favorite target. And maybe JuJu's the better receiver. He just had better connection with Deontay, but he was definitely the number 1 on that team. It wasn't JuJu. 3 years. Holy
3
shit.
years.
Still 3 years is, it's about to be 4.
You know what though, with the JuJu thing, you know what I was thinking, and I was watching the playoffs, and I was just kind of watching other teams with these people. Do you know what I would really want? And this is kind of the last little bit I want to talk about with this receiver stuff, because it's far too early to be talking. Because who knows? The Patriots might end up getting someone where isn't even on our radar. I want the Patriots to get someone in the vein of a Tyreek Hill, who is just a burner, but is actually good, because I think that's where the league is starting to go. And of course, if they don't, it's not the end of the world, but like just seeing these other teams with these fast receivers. And it's like, it would be so nice to have a player like that on the Patriots. And I know JuJu's fast, but like, he's not known for it like that. And like all these other people we're talking about, I don't believe they are either. I would like a player like that. I don't think they're going to get one, but that would be awesome if we get something like that. But
call me crazy. Actually, I'm not crazy. Don't we have one of those already under our wing right now? Nelson Aguilar is a burner.
No, he's not. He's not.
He is. He's fast.
He was hurt this year for a little bit, I think. Remember? On. No, he was the one. He hurt his leg, didn't he?
He his ribs or something. He got destroyed.
The only thing I'll say in Liam's defense of Nelson Aguilar is he's an every other year guy. He has a really good year, really okay year. Last year was his okay year. So if he has a good year this year, I'll say fine. The contract was worth it. But then I'll say bye-bye because he's probably walking out the door.
Probably, but he's fast. He's already a burner. That's what we need. He's got that Muhammad Ali where he cuts the lights off in his bedroom. He's in the bed before the room is dark. Fast.
Okay. I don't know if he's that fast. Do you want to know what would probably do you want to know what would probably make him faster if he had more energy? I don't know if you guys are aware of different ways where you can get more energy.
I can't imagine he gets fast.
It's kind of shocking the ways that you can get energy. Shocked energy, by the way, is where I'm going with this, guys. Liam, we've actually talked about it a little bit. You get all the different flavored boxes. Our favorite obviously is watermelon, always has been, always will be. Watermelon is a very a very tough flavor to get right, because it's like it's a very faint flavor, but when you get it right, you really get it right. And Shocked Energy has gotten that right. Go to shockedenergy.com right now. Get the watermelon box. You will not be disappointed at all.
Watermelon.
Incredible. Coming from
box.
someone who drinks an energy drink every single day for the last probably decade, Shocked Energy is the real deal. Again, shockedenergy.com. Use promo code CGSN, 10% off. I don't know what else I can say about it. If you need energy, Shocked Energy, CGSN, 10% off. Go get it. Maybe that'll let JuJu be a little bit quicker, and then maybe from there he'll be a good signing. But otherwise, kind of putting a stamp on the JuJu stuff. I do not want him on my team. I'm sorry.
Really fast. How about Jarvis Landry? Do you guys want him?
He already committed to Cleveland.
No. I do not want Jarvis Landry. I wanted Jarvis Landry before he went to Cleveland. Before he went to Cleveland. No Jews.
I like him.
No Jews. None of them. He isn't. He's not like the number one talent that you can bring in here. Because I think if you have Jarvis Landry, you have Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne is Jarvis Landry to me.
Okay, similar type player.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's more of a slot guy though. So if Myers leaves, then Jarvis. But no,
I
he
don't
already
want
committed
Myers
to Cleveland.
leave though.
Me neither.
Yeah,
but Jarvis
but
already
he
committed to
does.
Cleveland. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You're right. So I think we are all in agreement. All three of us do not want JuJu.
No, I'm still on the JuJu trade if it's the only option.
Al wholeheartedly agrees. No JuJu.
If you can get Ridley or you can get someone else, then fine, go get him. But if JuJu's on the table and it's the only option, then go get him.
All right. Moving on, Al.
Agree to disagree.
Now, okay, we are going to do. It's the off season right now, so we have to fill the time with some things. Top 5 New England Patriots running backs. This is a very tough list to make. I am not going to go first. One of you two can go first. Actually, you know what? Al, you are the guest. Al, we're going to go from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If we have repeats, that's fine. We'll still discuss it. Al, top 5 Patriots running backs. I need your number 5. Who?
So are we all saying our number 5, or am I saying my whole list?
Oh no. You say your number 5. You kind of give whatever you wanted to say about him. If you had,
then we berate you and move on to the next one.
And then we.
Okay, just like my daily life. Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
So with number exactly. So number 5, and it was funny because when I was filling this list out, this guy was originally my number 2, but then there was a distinct reason why I moved him back to 5. My guy, Liam, we were talking about it off air this morning. I got to put him here.
This hurts.
He was a stud. I'm going with Curtis Martin.
At 5.
Curtis Martin at 5. 10 straight years of over 1,000 yards. 5-time Pro Bowler. The 3 seasons he was with New England, 95, 96, 97. 2 of those years he was a Pro Bowler. But he's a Jet. He was a Jet. He was mainly known as a Jet.
Me. You are killing me at number 5.
Curtis Martin should have been. I can't say should have been, but I would have loved him to be a Patriot for life. Imagine Curtis Martin on like that 0-1 team with Brady instead of having like J.R. Redmond.
Wouldn't have lost a game.
They probably would have. They went 11-5. They probably would have gone 14-2 that year and breezed through the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, his stats, even for those 3 years on the Patriots, are unbelievable. I was looking at them earlier. And then in the playoffs, he was a big game performer, too. Had like 166 yards and 2 tubs. And I can't remember who they were playing now for the life of me. It might have been the Chargers, but he was a big baller. And that's like a running style that kind of got lost. Like he was a bruiser, but he was also fast. He kind of had it all. I've always been a huge Curtis Martin guy. But to put him at 5, seems disrespectful.
Curtis Martin isn't even on my list.
What is wrong with you people?
Get him out of here.
At least I had him on the list.
I had him on
the list.
Antoine Smith, J.R. Redmond, they did fine.
Ew.
No one needed Curtis Martin. Get that New York Jet ass out of here.
God.
That's why I put him at 5. That's why I put him at 5.
Oh, my God.
He's got to be on the list.
This is
95.
so
Hold on,
ridiculous.
real quick. 95. Okay, he rushed for 1,487 yards, 14 touchdowns. 96.
Yeah.
96, 1,152 yards, 14 touchdowns. 1997, not his best year. 13 games started, 1,160 yards, so still over 1,000 yards, only 4 touchdowns. But even so, the guy played really well in New England. So
really, really well.
You got to have him.
Not well enough. Not well enough, friends.
So my number 5, Curtis Martin.
He's a classic case of a Patriots player overachieving, and Bill's like, yeah, just let him go. I can't imagine he continues this play. And then he just torches you for the next decade.
Okay. So Curtis Martin's your number 5. Bold choice. Liam, who's your number 5?
I'm sickened. I almost don't even want to continue this list, but all right, let me just preface by saying my Mount Rushmore of Patriots running backs, it's just Lawrence Maroney with 5 different facial expressions.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I'm going to level with you. 1 through 5, it's all Lawrence Maroney. There's no one else. So Curtis Martin gets like the nod at like number 3 for me, but it's all Lawrence Maroney all day. I have a list that excludes Lawrence Maroney because he's obviously number 1. So that's what I'm going to present to you guys here. But just know, Lawrence Maroney, number 39 on the field, but number 1 on my heart.
Wasn't Danny Woodhead number 39 for the Patriots?
Yes,
Was he like
the second greatest 39 to ever suit
No,
up?
he's the greatest 39 in Patriots
Absolutely
history.
not. And I love
Danny Woodhead.
Okay, Mike, do you want to take the floor while we're on the topic?
Just real quick. So Al, I told you before the podcast I had a story to tell you about a running back.
Yes.
Danny Woodhead. So keep his last name in mind as I tell you this story.
I don't like where this is going already.
I hate it. My palms are getting sweaty as I'm telling it right now. It's the most anxious. It's the most the commercial where it's like, want to get away. I want to get away. So set the scene. I think it's like Easter, something like that. I'm at my then girlfriend, now wife. We're at her grandparents' house up in New Hampshire, hanging out. Whole families there on her side. We're talking grandparents, nieces, cousins, everybody, her parents, her dad, her mom. We're all sitting there, all around the TV because the Patriots were playing. So we're like, hey guys, let's go watch the Patriots. This was years ago, by the way. I want to say like 7 or 8 years ago. So we're watching the game. Danny Woodhead. I think it was when he made some catch, and it was like he made a catch and like juked and like made the first down. It was great play. Everybody, Danny Woodhead, great catch, guys. We're all cheering like Patriots fans. Let me tell you, everybody in the room, her mom, her dad, her grandparents, her cousins were there. Everybody, I'm sitting right next to her. So everybody's cheering. Oh yeah, Danny Woodhead, good job. And I'm like, yeah, everybody loves good head.
Yes.
So
I should have seen that coming.
Now, I don't know if you've ever been in this situation where you say something, and as you say it, the words, like you see the words and you see them hit every single person in the room. You see her dad turn and look at me. You see some people not look because they're like, I don't want to know this happened. What did I do? Nicole, she's sitting right next to me, stares at me, dead set on the TV, sat there like this, looking right at the TV. Didn't look at anybody. Didn't do a damn thing. I look right at the camera. Sat right there, looking right at the TV. Sitting there. I don't remember what happened. I think I think I blacked out for like 3 minutes. No idea what happened. But to me, in my eyes, it was a good joke. But it was one of those things where you have to know your audience. Probably shouldn't have talked about head in a family setting. And that family being my then girlfriend. Probably shouldn't have brought that up. But yeah, that is my Danny.
Not the smartest idea, Mike.
That is it. It rolled right off too. Didn't even think 1 second about it. I was like, this is a great joke. Oh, great catch, Danny. Oh, man, I love Danny Woodhead. Everybody loves good head. Stared right at the screen. Stared right.
Oh, God.
I don't think you guys understand. I am getting sweaty thinking about it. It was one of the most awkward moments in my in my entire life. So that is the Danny Woodhead story. But both things are correct. Everybody loves Danny Woodhead, and what I said is also correct. So I don't think that I was wrong. It was just wrong in when I said it. But anyways, Liam, back to you. So you said Lawrence Maroney, 5 different faces, but who do you got number 5?
All right. This was a tough decision because number 5 at this point, like I weeded all the ones that are truly supposed to be there out. And then number 5 to me was just a toss up of like players who performed really well and players that I would murder a small village of people for. And it came down and I was able to narrow it down to this guy. I'm going with the law firm Ben Jarvis Green Ellis.
Wow.
Huge Ben Jarvis Green Ellis guy. Shame we never got him a Super Bowl. He was right there every time. Just couldn't win the big game. But the big stat everyone talks about, this dude never fumbled, not once. The ball never left his hands. And going from him to Stephen Ridley shortly after, the contrast is unbelievable because Stephen Ridley's out there playing rugby, throwing it to teammates and other team. He's not even playing the right sport. Ben Jarvis locked in the vice grips, and his numbers are damn good to boot. In 2010, just over, like a hair over 1,000 yards, 4.4 yards per carry, which was his career best. Pretty good. That's not stellar, but it's above average.
Yeah.
13 tubs. Followed that up the next season, 11 tubs, only 600 yards, but it's a Patriot system. They had Tom Brady. They pass a lot. 13 tubs, 11 tubs. Ben Jarvis punched it in. And even when he was the backup to our Lord and Savior, Lawrence Maroney, he still cashed in with 300 yards and 5 tubs in his rookie season. He's just one of those Patriots players where you're like, oh yeah, I remember Ben Jarvis Green Ellis. Like, he got the job done. What happened to that guy? It's just next man up. Ben Jarvis came in and crushed it. He is my number 5. He also, a little fun fact for you, finished with 42 touchdowns, the exact same as his number, his whole career. I thought that was funny. I think he planned that because in his last season, 7 tubs. I'm sure he was like, all right, I'm at 42. Like, put Gio Bernard in to score this tub. I'm good. I'm going to retire after the season. So,
I forgot he went to the Bengals.
Yeah, and he was sick. He had another 1,000-yard season on the Bengals, had his longest run of his career, which went for a tub, of course. 6 tubs in his first year, 7 in his second. Give me the law firm.
I had no idea that the law firm had those numbers with the Pats. I know he didn't fumble. I remember that he didn't fumble.
Never once.
Good choice. So listening to you guys talk, I don't think you're going to be happy about my list. My number 5.
I hate it. There's no Curtis Martin on it. Your list is irrelevant.
No Curtis Martin. There's also
you're also wearing a Friends shirt, which makes all this irrelevant. That shirt sucks.
This shirt is awesome. Look at the pivot pillow.
I know it's terrible.
You're the worst.
I'll say this about Friends. I don't watch it much, but the shirt is kind of fire. Not gonna lie.
No,
I like
it's terrible.
The shirt is fire. You can't tell on the thing, but it's like a little tight, so it makes me look.
I was gonna say,
you shouldn't have said that. You should have just said, thanks, Al, and then gone right into your pick. You should not have said that next part.
My number 5.
Don't put your arms above your head. You'll rip it.
A lesser known guy that probably only your diehard Patriots fans will know. He was on the team. He played 8 games. He had one you guys know who it is.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
He had one humongous game.
You really put him on this list.
Do not say his name. The reason he is on this list. Now, when I talk about favorite players from certain positions or certain things, people who left a mark in my memory, players who are favorites for me, because, honestly, it might be one of those things where your flame burnt so bright, so hot that it could only be sustained for one game, even though he played 8 games. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the one and only Jonas Gray. That's my number 5.
Oh,
number 35.
Oh,
Jonas Gray. He played 8 games for the New England Patriots.
Oh,
people think that it's just that one game where he ran for 37. He ran 37 times, 201 yards and 4 touchdowns. Oh, no. He played for 8 games, 412 yards. So The majority of his yards were that one game.
Half.
5 touchdowns. So 4 of his touchdowns were that one game. The whole I'm trying to think of the word. What is the word where you're talking about people? Not the oh my God. Like the mystique of Jonas Gray. That's not the word. But what he did though, he had
legend.
that game.
The legend.
Yes, the legend of Jonas Gray. He had the game. 37 rushes, 201 yards, wild, 4 touchdowns. I remember he was going to be the next guy. He was built I don't know if you guys remember. I'm sure you do because he's one of the greats. He was built number 35, built like a tiny little bowling ball, right? Ready to go. What happened? A couple days after this game, he was late to practice. So what happened that week? He was benched. Following that game, he played 4 more games for the Patriots, had a total of 80 yards, and was released that offseason. The reason why Jonas Gray is one of my favorite running backs is because his story will never be heard again. You will never hear a story like Jonas Gray. 37 rushes, 201 yards, 4 touchdowns. Patriots won the game, obviously, and then you never hear from him again.
Can I say who I thought you were going to say?
Of course you can.
Because I don't think any of us have this guy on this list. Steven Jackson.
I almost put him on just because I like Steven Jackson.
That's a name.
That's who I thought you were going for. Because
oh God, no, we got worse. We went deeper cuts. We went side B. We went B track. See, there it is.
There you go.
Yep.
What are the odds if the jerseys of 2 players we're talking about?
But yeah,
just on hand.
That's really it. Jonas Gray. The reason why, not even a favorite because I necessarily loved him. It was just such a unique story. You will never see anything like that again. 37 rushes, 201, late to practice, bench the next game or the next week, 80 yards after that for the next 4 games, cut after the season. Wild. Jonas Gray, my number 5. I don't even think it's close. I think that is the best number 5 we've said. Liam is bamboozled.
Deranged?
I told you you're not going to like my list, but no, my list
made a
makes
mockery of this whole thing. Now after this, I might as well put Michael J. Fox at number 4 and then Coney Ely at number 3. What are you talking about?
I got Coney Ely number 2. Al, you go next.
All right.
Number 4, numero cuatro.
So my number 4, this is the oldest guy that I have. He was around in the mid 80s. So if you guys don't know who he is, I completely understand. But number 4, I'm going with Craig James. Now, if this is a name that you Patriots fans don't know, listen up. Craig James was half of the backfield at Southern Methodist University, SMU.
Southern Methodist?
Back in the day when they were in the Southwest Conference, it was him and Eric Dickerson, and they were part of what was called the Pony Express. And they were good. SMU was good. And Craig James, he played in the USFL, but then came over to the Patriots. He was a 1985 Pro Bowler. He had a 5-year career. In that 85 season, he had 1,227 rushing yards, helped the Patriots get to the Super Bowl against the Bears.
And then get clapped.
And then they got clapped. But Craig James is a name that if you like 30 for 30s, I think it's called the Pony Express. It really is. It's just a name that I thought of. And I'm like, you know what? This dude was awesome to watch in college. He did play decently when he was with the Patriots. So I'm throwing him in there at number 4.
I got to check out that 30 for 30 of him down there in the Bible Belt.
It's good. Liam, I think you would really like this 30 for 30.
I love ED.
Al, and you gave me shit for Jonas.
Yeah, because you're big and stupid.
You pull Craig James?
Wait a minute. Hold on. I didn't give you shit. All I said was it wasn't who I thought you were going to say.
Guess what, Al? I didn't think you were going to say Craig James, the immortal Craig James. I didn't think you were going to say that.
I did preface it by saying
good choice, though. I mean, that's a good. This is why we do this list. This was a good choice. This was a good.
Craig James played 72 more games than friggin' Jonas Gray did for the Patriots. So,
did Craig James ever run for 201 yards in the game for 4 touchdowns?
No, but he probably combined for much more than that over a healthy career.
Jonas Gray was a 1-game wonder. I'm sorry, but that's what he was, Mike. He was a one.
No, he wasn't. He had like 90 yards in the game before.
90 yards. Too. I could run for 90 yards.
I'm pretty sure we're
by the way.
when people run for 90 yards. Listen, Jonas Gray is my 5th pick. Screw off.
By the way,
fried.
By the way,
Barbecue.
Craig James had nearly
We're still
2,500
talking
rushing
about
yards
Craig
in
James.
his career. Just saying.
How many tubs?
How
Do
many?
you know
Wait.
offhand?
How many did he have? How many yards?
2,500. And he had 11 tubs. So the
Gee, that's a
touchdowns weren't
lot
there.
more than 200.
I'm just saying.
But did Craig James make you feel the way that Jonas Gray did in that game?
He did in college when him and Eric Dickerson were running all over everyone. And then
I
helping
wasn't
Kansas get to the
alive,
Super
so it
Bowl.
doesn't count, Al.
Right. We forgot that the world just
Liam.
starts and stops at your convenience.
Liam,
Terribly
number
sorry,
4.
Mike.
Al, great pick though. Craig James, CJ,
Thank you.
CJ2K, the original CJ2K.
There you go.
Okay.
Good pick though. All right, Liam, who you got for number 4?
God, I hate you. All right. So this one sucked. I hated to do this to him. It wasn't ideal. I'm sure he's on at least Al's list because Mike's clearly going
Is it
rogue
Jonas
here.
Gray? Do you have Jonas Gray?
No,
at
it's
4?
not fucking Jonas Gray. I can assure you, he wasn't even in my honorable mentions. Wasn't even in my honorable mentions.
He's so above it.
No,
Let's hear it.
beneath it.
What do you got for number 4?
It's gonna be a hard truth I'm gonna drop on you guys, but number 4 for me is Corey Dillon.
I didn't even have him on my list.
Really?
Me
I
neither,
really
sir.
didn't. Corey Dillon, and I liked Corey Dillon, but
Yeah.
I just before you go, Liam, I think the thing with Corey Dillon was he just felt more like a Bengal in his career, and the Patriots was just the last year or two on his career. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't think of him as a Patriot.
Well, see,
I mean, he was
that's very similar to
If
to
you
a
said
guy that
Jonas
used to play
Gray,
for
I'm gonna
a guy
lose
that
my
used to play
mind.
for SMU. He was a running back with Eric Dickerson. I don't really see him as a Patriot. I see him more as a SMU guy. You know, I
But he
believe
did
Al,
play
you
on the
had him.
Patriots his
Al,
entire
I believe
career.
you had him on your list, right? I believe what was his name, Craig.
Yes.
Craig,
Yes.
Craig Jackson. What
Oh,
was
you're
it?
funny.
Craig.
The guy that takes the one game wonder where he just all of a sudden gets out of bed and found all the open holes that even Pat McAfee could have run through that night.
That's wild.
Sorry,
That's
Mike.
what makes it that much better. That's what makes it crazy. The ups and downs of being a Patriots fan. One player is great one week and then gone the next couple weeks. You know what? I'm not going to defend my pick to you.
He's literally Timmy Smith
Liam.
from the Washington team that won the Super Bowl in '87. That's who he was.
I wasn't
That's what
alive
Jonas-
in '87, Al.
It doesn't
Nothing
matter.
counts.
It doesn't matter. I'm dropping football knowledge on you today. You're going to learn something.
Liam,
Playing with
I'm
a
not sure what you're
toothbrush.
doing with your toothbrush
Trying to find things I can kill myself with. What am I hearing? This thing.
because you'll never see someone like Jonas Gray again.
No,
Keep going though.
that's
Who?
not-
So
okay.
keep going with your number 4. I know.
Okay,
Good pick
so
though.
Corey Dillon, his 2004 first campaign with the Patriots, unbelievable, killer numbers, crushed it in the playoffs, just exactly the player that we expected, crushed it on the Bengals. We got this in his first year, stellar, won the Super Bowl with him, had a tub in the Super Bowl because he was big balling.
Yep.
And then the years after that, he struggled with injuries. Then his last year, he wasn't so much injured as he just was kind of a shell of himself. And he had a pretty bad 2006 campaign with the Patriots. So I kind of waited out from, he had a fantastic 2004 campaign, injured in 2005, and then 2006, he was bad. So you take the really good, the really bad, you do some math problem that I can't understand, but I'm sure Al could teach it to a bunch of 5-year-olds. And then I came up with the conclusion that he's probably around number 4 because he gave us one great year and then some middling production after that. So I hated to put him this low because most Patriots fans kind of have this delusion of grandeur where they're like, I remember Corey Dillon. It's like, no, he wasn't actually. Like,
Don't ever do that again. That was cringe.
Yeah. But he's like, he wasn't really that dude. Like he was sick before the Patriots in his first year, and then after that, it was kind of like one of the wheels had fallen off.
I have to take a shower after you just did that. That's like a chill down my spine, and not. In a good
Yeah, I'm
way.
just saying that's what people do when they think of Corey Dillon. They like pinch their nipples.
You
and
look
shit.
like the coach from The Water Boy. That's
He's
what
like,
you literally look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who you literally look like. Farmer Fred, whatever his name
Farmer
was.
Fred or something like that. Yeah, so I got Corey Dillon number 4. Heathenist that you guys don't have him on the list at all. Now I'm worried about where both of your lists are going.
As you can see, my list is made for the elite of the elite. So.
Oh
No.
gosh.
No, honestly though, there is not a single person on this podcast that can argue with my 4th pick. 13 years he played, all with the Patriots. Let me tell you something really quick. When I tell you keep the answer in your head. When I tell you elbow pads, who do you think of? Little kind of turtle-like elbow pads. I know you probably don't think anybody. I think of one specific person. I'm talking about Kevin Falk, the James White before James White, the Shane Vereen before Shane Vereen, the Danny Goodwoodhead before Danny Goodwoodhead. We're talking Kevin Falk. You want to know something wild? I was looking up his stats. In his Patriots career, he has 3,607 rushing yards. You know how many receiving yards he has? 3,701. He was the definition of the guy who could do both. He could run the ball if you needed him to. He could catch it, except unless it was 4th and 2. He could do what he needed to do. He, to me, kind of spawned the position that now we love people like, like I said, the James Whites, the Shane Vereens, all that. Kevin Falk was the originator of that. Kevin Falk, to me, love him. I put him in the same ilk of Wes Welker, where Wes Welker doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Neither does Kevin Falk. Wes Welker kind of created how important the slot position is, not only in the NFL, but with the Patriots. Kevin Falk did the same thing with the receiving back out of the backfield. So Kevin Falk is my number 4. Argue with that, you sons of bitches.
No, you redeemed your point.
I love Kevin Falk.
From here on out, by the way, there's no more Jonas Gray. There's no more Jonas Gray type people, so you're good.
Okay, good. No, Kevin
the fact
Falk,
that you had to double check that still.
I did.
That's a little alarming. No, Kevin Falk, my great pick. Love Kevin Falk.
Damn right.
You make a point too, how he was the first of the mold that the Patriots just carried on, where it's like, you said he played 13 years?
13 years, all with the Pats, a true Patriot, unlike Brady.
I knew he was with them, and he went to LSU, which is pretty tight, and he's the running backs coach there now, but that's beyond the point. So Bill looked at those 13 years and said, all right, this worked really well. We had a guy who could catch the ball, and he basically just ran like outside and caught the ball, and it worked really well for us. He's like, so we're going to get more players like that. And like you said, spawns the Shane Vereens, the Danny Woodheads, the James Whites, and JJ Taylor, if you want to use him loosely. But I like that a lot. He definitely was the founding father of the receiving backs. For the
remember
Patriots.
The elbow pads, though? Do you remember his elbow pads? They were like turtle shells. They were like big ass turtle shells.
Yeah.
And if we're going to talk about big play, Kevin Falk, remember when Tom Brady falls over and he's on his ass and just slings it for a first down to Kevin Falk? One of the most absurd plays I've ever seen.
That was him. Kevin Falk. I also think of, the play where Brady would act like the snap goes over his head. Falk grabs it. And
he was the first to do that.
That's who I think
James
of when
White took that and scored in the Super Bowl.
James White took it over because James White is my king. So yeah, that's my number 4. Don't worry, I brought you guys back into the real list, even though Jonas Gray is still my 5. Al, number 3, who you got?
Number 3, a guy that was with the Patriots, took a detour, came back, but when he came back, he really put up some big numbers, specifically in 2016. It is 3-time Super Bowl champion LeGarrette Blount. You need to have blunt force trauma in there. Like I said, 3-time Super Bowl champion. Do you guys remember how many touchdowns he had in 2016?
18. I'll never forget it.
18 touchdowns.
Yep.
18
touchdowns. Credit to us for knowing that, by the way, too. This is why you come to Tuck Rule Takes, because we know this shit. Keep going now. Sorry.
Our ears perk up instantly. We're like, 18.
You're good. A 2-time 1,000-yard rusher. And you think about it, right? He was with the Patriots. Then he was gone, went to Pittsburgh, didn't work out. He was with Tampa at one point, too.
He started with Tampa. He was undrafted.
That's right. No, I'm sorry. He started with Tampa, came to New England, left New England, went to Pittsburgh, left Pittsburgh, went to New England. Then he also played for Philly in that 2017
No, he played for Detroit. And then
he played for Detroit after. He played for Detroit after that year.
Yeah, because he quit on the Steelers. He left mid game, and they cut him, and then he went to the Patriots and won a Super Bowl that year.
But this was this was a guy that was a big bruising back, but also he could rip off a lot of long runs. And people will say, "Oh, Blount had a lot of meaningless runs." He did, but especially for that 2016 team, he was vital. Especially when Brady was suspended those first 4 games. They leaned heavily on LeGarrette Blount those first 4. So shout out to LeGarrette Blount, 2-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots. My number 3.
And that one, you don't let Blount go because he comes back to bite you in the ass. He had that killer touchdown with the Eagles against the Patriots in the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl. But we could legitimately make a whole episode off just LeGarrette Blount memories, because when you say LeGarrette Blount, hey, we could, because like it just all comes flowing in. Like basically anytime he played the Colts, like he's strapping it up. He's like, it's go time.
Deflategate, that game.
Yeah.
That was the game.
Yep. No.
Yeah, that was him. Yeah,
that went off in that game.
Yeah, he ran for 3 touchdowns, right? I believe
he did. Yep. He did.
But I remember Tom Brady throwing like 3 touchdowns. Yeah, it was a blowout. But I remember Tom Brady throwing like 3 touchdowns because he threw a touchdown to Nate Solder in that game.
Yeah, no, they won. I'll
fact check that real quick. I'll fact check it while you guys keep talking.
But and then he had the kick return. I think it was against the Jets. Who the hell puts a power back to return kicks? Sure enough, dude takes it all the way home for Tubb. I'll never forget him diving into the end zone, basically swan diving into the end zone with that. He had so many killer moments with the Patriots. They all just come flowing back. And for somebody to be on the Steelers for 1 year, get suspended for the first 4 games for fishbowling his car with his own last name and Le'Veon Bell, and then gets suspended, comes back off suspension, plays a couple games, does fine. He was splitting carries with Le'Veon Bell, then realizes, just like I said earlier, this atmosphere is toxic. They got wide receivers that are doing their own thing, and there's people are all ridiculous. Leaves the stadium. The ultimate. We saw Antonio Brown do it this year, and we're like, what is he doing? That's football hell. If you leave mid-game, that's like the ultimate kick in the face to everyone. Everyone's like, why would he do that? That's so disrespectful. He leaves, should be punished, signs with the Patriots. It's like he had this master plan where he's like, this sucks. I'm going to go hit up Bill. Just gets up off the bench, gets undressed, leaves. He's probably on the way back to the hotel. He's like, yeah, hey, Bill, this whole Steeler thing isn't working out. Can I come back? He's like, gladly. And then comes back next year, rushes for 18 tubs, wins the Super Bowl. When he left the Steelers, went to the Patriots. He has a storybook career and just such a likable guy.
He really is. And in that AFC Championship game, just to let both of you know, the Patriots won 45-7. Brady threw for 23 for 35, 226, 3 touchdowns and a pick. LeGarrette Blount in that game. LeGarrette Blount, 30 carries, 148 yards, 3 tubs.
Still not as good as Jonas Gray.
Okay. Fuck you. But
enough with the Jonas Gray.
I remember like just watching every time we would play the Colts, regular season or playoffs. It's like, dude, Blunt's going to war right now. You know, he's strapped up with a bazooka on his back, Uzis. He's looking like Rambo coming out the tunnel. And every time Brady would just, I'm not looking for my numbers. I'm just going to hand the ball off. Like you said, 30 carries. He's like, dude, just take it. Brady could have had 5-6 tubs. And he's like, dude, just all you. Feeding the beast. He had this one breakaway run where he got it up the middle. It was like a 48-yard touchdown for LeGarrette. I was like, oh my God, just destroying teams. It's so depressing too if you're the defense and you're trying to tackle that guy. It just wears down on you. He keeps scoring. He keeps breaking long runs. You don't want to tackle this guy.
Yeah, so LeGarrette Blount was actually going to, it was between him, and I don't mean to bring him up again, but it was between him and Jonas Gray to be number 5. So, yeah. So LeGarrette Blount is not on my list. He should be.
I can't believe you did that. You're ridiculous. You are absolutely ridiculous. I have no words. I need new Al. I'm looking for a new host or co-host.
So is that a nod to me to say that you want me to be the new co-host?
Do whatever you want. You can give me you, Jerry Seinfeld, anyone else. Just friggin' get me a new host that is going to put together a reasonable top 5.
Just for that, Mike's staying on.
God damn it.
Liam, I believe it's your turn.
So what are we at, number 3?
Yes. Perhaps any repeats.
So yes, I did have LeGarrette Blount at 3.
Oh, look at you guys. Look at you guys go.
Great minds think alike.
Yeah, I'll high five that too. Yeah, there we go.
No,
awesome.
We're not going to high five. You took him off your list. You sinful.
Well, there goes Al. Al, I don't know what happened, so I think Al
would leave too.
Al just left the Zoom thing because I think that I think he just got upset with my Jonas Gray pick. Yeah. I think that's what it was.
No, I had to grab a water off the other side of the room. Here it is. Just so that
no, that's fine. Al, listen. I know that my Jonas Gray thing was like controversial. but I don't know why you had to
It's not even
leave
controversial.
in the middle of the thing. So, okay. So you
Downright
did your
heinous.
3. Liam, do you have anything you wanted to say about your number 3, LeGarrette Blount, before I go to my number 3 that might actually cause something?
Yeah, I mean, what more is there to say that I haven't already ranted on? I love the guy. I wish he was my dad. Like, I can't say enough about him. If I was in a burning building, there's only one person I would trust to pull me out of a burning building, and that would be LeGarrette Blount. I would put my life, my kid's life, my wife's life, my family's life, all in his hands. There's no one I trust more. The most skilled firefighter could not rescue me from a fire like LeGarrette Blount could.
So if you had one game that you had to trust someone to get, I don't know, 200 plus yards, you would pick LeGarrette Blount over someone who has ran for 200 yards in a game? That's wild to me. I would pick Jonas Gray.
LeGarrette Blount's ran for 200 yards.
No,
but
honestly though,
do anything. He's
Jonas
punched
Gray,
out coaches. This dude's fearless.
Not Jonas Gray. LeGarrette Blount, very tough not to have him on my list. LeGarrette Blount, like he is.
That up.
He was around, whenever in all my Patriots memories, LeGarrette Blount is in a fair amount of them. My number 3 pick was a 3rd round pick for the Patriots. He spent 4 years with the team. When I think of this guy, similar to Kevin Falk, I think of attire. I think of visor, black visor, and he had the little towel hooked into his pants, which I know it's not scientifically proven, but similar to like when Steve Smith had it, when you have the little towel tucked into your pants, you run faster. I think that should be scientifically proven. I know it's not yet, but my guy, number 3, Stephen Ridley for me. I love Stephen Ridley. Love him. Now let me. Are
you just trying to spark outrage? Were you making this list like?
Let me ask you something.
In 3, they'll flip out. You're just talking to your wife. 3.
Did we say the wife wanted Danny Woodhead on here because everybody loves Goodhead. Now when we were talking about this list, did we say the best running backs, or did we say your favorite running backs? Clarify.
I was under the impression it was just top 5.
It was just top, correct? Top has very different words to it. Top could be who gives me the best memory, Jonas Gray. Top could be who has the funniest story, Danny Woodhead. He didn't make it. He was honorable mention though. Stephen Ridley for me, because I thought that Stephen Ridley was going to be the next guy. Reason being, he had 1,263 yards his 3rd year here with the team. That was when he was the starting running back. He was going to be the guy. Then next season had 773 yards. He shared their backfield with LeGarrette Blount. Obviously, we know what happened. Then they shipped him off. He had 340 yards his last year here. He got hurt, sent him off to the Jets, and then the rest is history. Stephen Ridley, to me, though, I loved him when he was on the team. I thought he was going to be the guy. Like I said, he had the visor. I don't care who you are. I am a sucker if you have a black visor on. I love you if you have that. Add on top of that, you give me the towel. You tuck the towel in your pants, buddy. One of my favorite players. I almost got his jersey. If I got his jersey, he probably would have died though. But I think Stephen Ridley, to me, he represents what the Patriots do with their running backs. Now, not Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson, because I think they're in a different era right now. Stephen Ridley, though, they had him for his rookie year. They milked him for that one good year, and they shipped him out. Stephen Ridley, to me, very exciting when he was playing. I know he's not on a lot of people's list because he did fumble the ball a not acceptable amount. But yeah, Stephen Ridley is my number 3. Again, this is not the best running backs list. This is just our top. When we think of Patriots running backs, this is who we think of. I don't think of Al's guy from the 80s who played for the church. I don't think that. So
Bible Belt.
That's my number 3. Al, number 2. We're getting into the nitty gritty. My next 2, nobody can argue with though. Al, okay. Number 2.
We'll see about that. Number 2, this is a guy that he may not be worthy of the number 2 spot, but when you think about
Al, I just had a random thought. I hate to cut you off here.
Go.
not a crazy Stephen Ridley guy, but I got to give it to him for one of the coolest celebrations I've ever seen, where he outlines the door and kicks it in. That was badass. I'm sorry I had the delayed thought.
No, that's okay.
I was like, what do I remember Stephen Ridley for besides fumbling? And I was like, it's that fucking celebration. I still do that flag football. Give me that.
That's why he's number 3. Al, you're up.
No, I'm good.
Proceed.
No, you're fine. So this is a guy that could do a little bit of everything. And when he was with the Patriots, he was a guy that was a spark plug. And he's a guy that honestly won a game all by himself. I'm going back to 2016. It's Dion Lewis.
Oh,
Dion Lewis. Now, if you remember this, fun fact
about him.
So you guys want to hear a fun fact about me?
Always.
2000, I think it was 2015, or it might have been 14 actually, to 2019. I was at all those divisional games.
Damn.
So the AFC divisional games for like 4 or 5 years. Me and actually someone else from Couch Guy, one of our streamers, Wally Dog, who we're from the same town. Yeah, Waleed. We went to those games every single year for like 5 years. And we were at the 16. It's pretty cool, isn't it? And we were at that game where Dion Lewis returned a kickoff for a touchdown, rushed for a touchdown, and caught a touchdown pass. Dion Lewis was really good. He was a guy that had 9 total touchdowns in 2017. He won that Houston game by himself. Like, he was a guy that could come in. He was shifty. He was quick. And he was a guy that not a lot of people talked about with that offense. So Dion Lewis for me, number 2.
I remember him tearing his ACL against the Redskins. I've never been so sad at an injury in my life, because he was killing it all year. Once he smoked the Cowboys for that crazy sideline touchdown.
That's what I was just going to say. Yep.
That dude. Yeah, sorry to take that from you. He ducks that dude, throws a juke on him, gets in the end zone. After that, I'm like, he's cooking the Cowboys. I love this guy. So I was all in. But then when he tore his ACL against the Skins, I was like, I felt like I just watched my dog get hit by a car. I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, no, that was rough. And yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. When he ducked the tackle from the Cowboys, juked a guy, then ran to the end zone, all in the space of like 6 yards. It was wild.
Yeah, insane.
Dion Lewis, great choice.
Forgotten thing about Dion Lewis, too. Do you guys remember just before overtime in the Falcons Super Bowl? Do you remember what the Patriots did? Right before overtime, they're at like their own 30.
Yeah. Wasn't it like it wasn't a fake play. It was something, right? Wasn't it?
Oh, I know. It was right before. It was the play to end the game, right?
Yeah.
It was like that fake, and he took it to like the 50-yard line.
Okay,
yeah.
So it was Tom Brady ran that old college play where he throws it, but then holds the ball behind his back, and Dion Lewis comes around and grabs it. The saddest thing in the world, once again, emotions flare up. Dion Lewis heading to the sideline. It's not going to be a touchdown, so he's going out of bounds. Boom, tears his ACL again and just hops out of bounds. Just a random jump cut. Movie's made 1,000 times. Tears his ACL again, hops out of bounds. Not that he was going to play anyway, because James White was locking it up. But the fact that he tore his ACL on a completely insignificant play in the greatest Super Bowl ever, it's that one hurt me. So I feel bad for the dude. He's had terrible.
I remember that. Yep. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, when he tore it, and he it was like
he
a
dived out of bounds.
Yeah, it was horrible.
He was like, I'm not gonna fall inbounds. I'm getting out.
Yep. I remember that. Good pick though, Al. Good pick. Liam.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What you got? Number 2, baby.
Okay. So since this list has taken a turn for not players who are the best, but favorite players, I'm going to disregard my Corey Dillon at number 2 pick, because we've already talked about his greatness. And I'm going to slide in there with a personal favorite and love of mine that is not Lawrence Maroney. And that would be the great Shane Vereen. Shane Vereen was one of, if not maybe, my second favorite Patriots running back ever. I mean, talk about do it all. This guy, hands like gold, could catch a brick thrown off the Empire State Building, running with the best of them, moves. I will never forget. I was just a wee lad, just a fetus at this point, basically, watching the Patriots, and Shane Vereen down the sideline. Brady splits him out wide. way down, deep touchdown. No one's near him. Shane Vereen lays out for it, catches it, touchdown.
Mhm.
He was unbelievable. Just one of those guys that you love to love. Got no recognition. No one gave a shit about Shane Vereen. You go to a Patriots game, you'd see 3 Shane Vereen jerseys, maybe. This dude was so good. And in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks, 11 catches, 67 yards, and 3 clutch first downs.
That game, by the way, where you say that he dove and got the ball, that was the game where Stephen Ridley had gotten hurt the week before. Shane Vereen got up and did Ridley's touchdown celebration.
That's awesome.
I was at a bar in New Hampshire with my girlfriend and my best friend. And it was
now
like
wife.
His dad's seafood. Yeah, now wife. It was like his dad's seafood
nice.
restaurant. And we watched that. I remember because I was drinking Stella cider. And Stella cider is amazing if you ever get a chance to have it. But I remember seeing that and I was like, that was awesome. Because I remember he did that. And I love Stephen Ridley. As you know, he's my number 3.
And I love
and he
Shane
did
Vereen.
that. He did that celebration. I was like, oh yeah. No, I remember that.
I have a buddy who's a Giants fan too. So when Shane Vereen went to the Giants after the Patriots, dude was psyched. He's like, "We're winning the Super Bowl." I'm like, "No, you're fucking not. You got Eli Manning." But
so, I mean, I have not. Shane Vereen was my number 2 as well. So I don't. That's why. Right when you said that, I was like, shit, because I had it written down.
Undercut him. Throw in an
Game
honorable
high.
mention. That's what I had to do because I had Curtis Martin at number, or Corey Dillon at number 2.
My honorable mention was probably going to be Danny Woodhead. I love Danny Woodhead when he was on the team.
He was so good.
You know, another fun fact about Danny Woodhead. Me and Danny Woodhead actually went back and forth on Twitter for a little bit because I said something because it was something about Brady. Because when Brady left, Danny Woodhead was basically saying that like all Patriots fans should cheer for Tom Brady. And then I said something, and then me and him went back and forth a couple times. So
you guys
little did he
Twitter
know.
beef?
Twitter beef. I mean, yeah, I guess not. I guess, you know, maybe not all Woodhead is good Woodhead then. I don't know. Maybe I was wrong with my statement. But yeah, I mean, Danny Woodhead will be my, you know, honorable mention number 2. I was thinking Antoine Smith too, because I really liked him, but
I have him as my honorable mention.
You do? Fuck yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
but yeah, no.
He scored against the Eagles. I wanted to kill myself.
Shane Vereen, though, I mean, you already said it. What I had, game high, 11 catches, 64 yards against the Seahawks. That's what I'll remember. 60. I don't know. It might have been a typo, but either way,
I counted every yard.
Shane
I went back and watched it.
All right, Al, number 1. Who is your top Patriots running back of all time?
So it is a repeat. It's someone that's already been said. It was
Jonas Gray.
It was on Mike's list. It is Jonas Gray. It's Jonas Gray. I'm just kidding. That would be idiotic and stupid if I did that. No, but it was on Mike's list. It's Kevin Falk. Kevin Falk's my number 1 guy. Because you know what?
Hometown hero.
Has to be. I mean, 13 years in the Patriots. He was Mr. Patriot. He was a guy that worked hard. He showed up every day. I would say he was pretty clutch. Like when you needed a first down, you needed a third down reception or, you know, third down draw play, whatever it was. Kevin Falk was the guy to get it done.
Third down, maybe a swing pass to the flat. It's like 4th and 2. You figure you could get that.
Like he was Brady's security blanket his early years in New England. So I give it to Kevin Falk, and I'm not going to second guess it or change it. Kevin Falk, number 1.
I like it.
I don't hate that at all. I love that.
I mean, it's hard not to because he's just 13 years with the Pats is what solidifies it. All these other guys were like, oh, Shane Vereen when he went to the Giants, or Stephen Ridley when he went to the Jets, Curtis Martin when he went to the Jets. This guy, Patriots.
By the way, I hope you guys are going to put these lists out on your Twitter because I want to see a poll of who they think is the best list.
We're going to have to.
Well, I mean, we know who they're going to pick, but it's
going
to be
you. Hysterical. They're going to
yeah.
see Jonas Gray and laugh you out the gym. You might get banned from Twitter.
They're going to see Al's people and be like, I wasn't even alive for these people. Yeah, no. Kevin Falk, though. I mean, good eye. Kevin Falk's awesome. Love Kevin Falk. Good pick. Liam, number 1. Who do you have?
If we don't have the same number 1, Mike, then I don't know what we're doing.
I'm like kind of nervous, but I'm also.
Are you serious? Are you serious?
It's a very valid number 1 too, if it's who I think it is.
There's really only one option, and it
Cordero
is
Patterson.
Yes, of course.
No,
I
shit, is
mean-
that you have? No, fuck, that's not who I have. Go. Who's your number one?
Cordero.
No, is it?
Fuck yeah. Have you seen what he
Why?
did this year? Because he's sick.
Oh
Sir.
my gosh. He wasn't even a running back on the Patriots.
They put him there sometimes.
No, that Mike, can we void that?
That can't be
I'm,
it.
I'm kidding. No.
I was gonna say, I had a feeling you were, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go along with it anyway. I had a feeling. Liam, I had a feeling you were just
I would have rather him than Jonas Gray. So shut up, Mike. No.
Almost left the
No.
podcast.
I mean,
Okay, who's your number one?
It's Sweet Feet. It's James White.
that's even
all
worse.
day, every day.
That's even worse.
The Super Bowl champion is what he is. When it's Super Bowl time, he is locked and loaded, coming, strapped up, ready to go. Every Super Bowl he's been in, minus the Rams one when Sonny Michel got the tub, should have been James White, but every other one he's getting a tub. In fact, in the most important one, he's getting 3 of them. The dude is clutch beyond belief, can do everything possible. Even in the one they lost against the Eagles, he broke this 18-yard run that, I mean, it was a shootout back and forth, but he was killing. He might have even had 2 touchdowns in that game, but he has an absurd Super Bowl stat line across his 3 Super Bowls that he's been in, or 4 Super Bowls that he's been in, 3 that he's won. His stats are insane. He's always playing top notch. And I mean, of course, because he's the greatest Patriots running back ever, bar none, not even close, can catch anything. I swear, if Tom Brady threw the ball straight up in the air, he'd be able to field that thing like a punt and take it for a touchdown. It'd be easy. James White, there's nothing he can't do on the field, picks up the blitz well. He really is just a winner, and he showed it in multiple Super Bowls. He's that guy. Steps in with the Kevin Falk role, takes that, runs with it, blows that role out of the water. He is Kevin Falk on steroids. If Calvin Johnson and Kevin Falk had a weird, disordinate baby, that would be Sweet Feet.
So, I mean, I think now I know that obviously, like, you know, we are probably the most pro James White podcast out there, but this pick makes sense because when you think about running backs, James White is the running back. You think about, I mean, like you said, the Falcons Super Bowl, 3 touchdowns, the game sealing touchdown,
2-point conversion,
2-point conversions in there. Do you know do you know how he scored that 2-point conversion? Do you remember the fucking play? It was the play where Brady pretends like, yep, that's what it was. So it was the play where, you know, Brady acts like the snap goes over his head. James White grabs it, runs it in, spikes it. Awesome. Great. Confetti. Everybody's happy. Well, not confetti yet, but yeah, James White to me, he took that pass catching role. I think when he's healthy, arguably he is the top 3 at least best pass catching running backs in there.
Top
Blitz
3,
pickup, like you said, blitz pickup. He's arguably one of, if not the best Patriots running back when it comes to blitz pickup. It's just James White is always that guy. When Brady was around, if Brady's getting pressure, if he needs to outlet the pass, if he needs to do something, who does he throw to? James White. Mac Jones, we saw it this year, that perfect little butterfly pass.
You can send him deep too.
bucket.
Hell, send him on a wheel. He can score 50, 80-yard touchdowns. He can catch anything.
Do you want to know how important James White was? If James White was healthy, the Patriots win the Super Bowl this year. There's no scientific facts behind that. There's just reality.
I know this.
If James White was healthy, the New England Patriots at the very least get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they beat the Rams because they've beaten them before. It's that simple.
If you get to the Super Bowl with James White, you can almost, unless you're playing Big Dick Nick Foles, you can almost guarantee a victory because you know he's going to ball out of control.
It's very true. Al, I feel like you don't agree with us, and I don't know where this James White hate came from. I wish I knew
this. What more do you need, Al? What more do you need?
I don't hate James.
Another team. He didn't go to another team. Whole career with the Patriots. Still playing.
Agent this year.
I hate myself because I should have seen this coming, and I didn't see it coming. I should have. But
at the end of every episode, we whisper "Sweet Feet" into the mic.
I should have.
That's James White.
I was thinking about putting James White on my list. I probably should have. Now that if I replace James White in the Craig James role, I think I win this draft easy.
Oh, the immortal Craig
Easy.
James from 1982, running back,
The
running back when
Jonas
they
Gray,
had
the Jonas Gray that for one game
you're gonna
decided to
lose.
actually probably take
You're gonna
steroids
lose.
before the game and decided to rattle off 200 yards
do his
against
juicing.
a soft Colts defense.
at least Jonas Gray played when they had helmets. You got whatever Curtis James, was that his name?
Craig
Curtis
James.
Craig James playing when they played with leather helmets, no pads, black and white. They probably only had like the AFC because they didn't have the NFC. There were probably 8 teams in the league.
Liam, does he forget to
SMU.
realize that in the 80s, there were players like Joe Montana and Dan Marino, Eric Dickerson.
Mike Sullivan was born in 91. Everything before that is leatherhead helmet football.
There's BM and AM before Mike and after Mike.
After Mike. Craig
You might
James.
as well be telling him about the Ottoman Empire right now. It's all over his head.
Oh my God.
As far as I knew, Craig James was the Ottoman's favorite player.
Five
day.
5 NFL seasons.
Throwing heavy bets on their phones, hammering,
Throwing gold coins out there.
5
betting
NFL
betting for
seasons.
horses.
sacrificing ink and coins.
I'll take the 5 seasons. Give me the 5 seasons over one game.
One game for Jonas Gray. Yeah. I thought we were still talking about Sweet Feet. I'm like, there's a million. There's like
no, but getting back to
ones.
James White, I do like James White a lot. He is a
do you
pros
like
pro.
or do you love?
Apparently not.
Or do you have
I like
to
him
have?
a lot. I like him a lot.
Okay, so hold on. Let's put this in terms of, have you ever been to Cold Stones, the ice cream place?
Yes.
I say, what's the name of it?
do it,
again?
Liam.
Say it
Bring it
again.
Cold Stones.
I have not.
Okay, so it's a magical place full of joy and heavenly wonders. And
Honestly, Al, I do recommend it. This isn't like a
Really
isn't
good.
like a Liam shtick.
yeah,
Go to
no.
Cold Stone.
there's no
It's-
Liam
it's
Stick
the
that
best.
doesn't exist. But
No,
okay, so
no, there is.
no, there isn't. But instead of sizes small, medium, and large, there's like it, love it, and gotta have it. And that's how I rate players that I like. So is James White a like it, a love it, or a gotta have it for you?
I'm not going to say gotta have it but I will say
It's a red flag.
it's between like it and love it and more toward love it.
Oh, great. Oh, thank you. Thank you for your concession. Oh, he's a good
What would we
player.
do without your blessing?
Oh my
Listen,
God.
James White, listen, I was devastated like you guys when James White got hurt
Were you?
to end the season. Yes,
We
I
had a
was,
funeral.
Michael.
I find it hard to believe.
I was at the game. I was at the game where he got hurt.
Did you have a moment of silence? Did you kneel in
Yes.
prayer?
Not
Kneel
kneeling
in
prayer, but I
prayer?
had a moment of silence.
Should have
Had a
kneeled
moment
in
of
prayer.
silence.
Clearly, he's not a gotta have it for you. You're an undesirable. You're the cherub.
He likes-
If we were to put this back in before BM times, you're a cherub. You're at the bottom.
He
of the
likes
pyramid.
James White, but James White is no Craig James to him.
Yeah,
apparently.
no, of course not. No. I mean, talking about a 7-year.
Hey, I did say I would replace
Craig.
Craig James with James White if I had to do it over again. So that's got to count for a little bit of something.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because you don't.
Liam, you
Lord-
had Lawrence
Lordship.
Maroney at number 5. He was you had Ben Jarvis Green Ellis.
I
Sorry.
had Lawrence Maroney at 1 through 5. There's a difference.
Yeah,
But
Lawrence
nice.
Maroney
That's even
sucks.
worse. That's
Yeah,
even worse. You know
Lawrence
what? I am
Maroney's bad.
happy. I am happy that we're taking attention away from my Jonas Gray pick. You guys had some blasphemous things too. We're all
Not
gonna act like
even.
I'm the only one.
I
Not
had
even.
listen, I had 4 out of 5 good picks. That's what I'm going to say. The Curtis Martin pick
Debatable.
was a good pick. What
Martin's
was
a
the
great
other
pick. He
one?
was my number 2.
Okay, so and you both liked LeGarrette, you both liked Deion Lewis,
course.
and you both loved Kevin Falk. 4 out of
Yeah.
5. I'll take 80% all day
they're
long.
good, but none of them are better than Sweet Feet, and certainly none of them are better than Lawrence Maroney.
Lawrence Maroney sucks.
Absolutely not. Okay, they went
like him.
undefeated with him at running back. That's science.
Yeah, and how much did he contribute to it? Probably nothing.
Plenty. He crushed it. Absolutely crushed it. Let me
Crushed
pull
it?
up the stats for you.
Please
Let me pull
do.
up these stats. I will.
Please do.
I have it bookmarked because I look at his
Lawrence
Wikipedia
Maroney's
regularly.
thing. Lawrence Maroney's criticism is that he would dance too much in the backfield. He was more
I like it.
east and west, not north and south.
All right, so-
That's what his.
So
what
let's
his
just
thing was.
let's just put it out in the universe. Mike's Jonas Gray pick sucked. My Craig James pick sucked. All of Liam's picks sucked. There we
Absolutely
go. Problem
not.
solved.
We're gonna
all
put
my
quotes
picks-
around.
All
sucked.
my picks were Lawrence Maroney, so they couldn't suck.
Doesn't even make sense. Liam.
Hold on.
Because if all your picks were Lawrence Maroney, then you wouldn't have James White on the list, and your list is invalid, just like Al's list. My
He's
list
on my
is the only list that
secondary
is
Wait,
valid.
you're saying my list is invalid because of Craig James?
Okay.
I might.
That's awful. That is awful.
I very well might say it.
That's awful.
Right.
Then you shouldn't be allowed to do a draft like this again if you're putting Jonas Gray on it.
CJ 85 1K SMU. What, Liam?
You guys want to hear these Lawrence Maroney stats right now?
I can't wait to barf
I
at
kind
them.
of do.
Go ahead.
I kind of do.
His best year. I mean, say
No. We were talking the Super Bowl year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Totally.
Oh.
No, I got that one too. Don't you worry.
Read them off, Liam.
It's actually
Read 'em
pretty
off.
good. It's
Read 'em
actually
off.
pretty good. So he had 185 rushes.
Okay.
This is 2007, right?
2007. Yep.
Okay, 185 rushes for 855 yards. 6 tubs, baby. 6 tubs. Fire me up. 6.
What's funny about you though is that you'll verify the 6 touchdowns for Lawrence Maroney, but then you'll say JuJu Smith-Schuster sucks for having 9 touchdowns in the season.
Well, because he's a wide receiver. He's only supposed to.
Okay, Lawrence Maroney's a running back on a team that had Randy Moss and Wes Welker. So what is your point?
He caught a touchdown. He caught one.
What is your point?
Oh, shit. Look at him.
I mean, he was on the most high-powered offense ever. Like, they weren't running the ball that much.
Yeah, obviously they're not, because if he was
Brady
better,
threw
they would
50
run it more.
Brady threw 50 tubs. How
I
much
know.
more running do you need to do?
Obviously, you needed more if you didn't win the Super Bowl that year.
No, because let's talk about his best year here, shall we? 194 rushing yards for 760 yards.
Okay, that's
9
less than 4
tubs.
yards. That's less than 4 yards a carry. Okay, carry on.
Not ideal. The offensive line wasn't stellar this year.
Your argument is terrible so far. Go ahead, keep going.
9 tubs, baby. Give me that. 6 and then 9.
What were they, from the 1 yard line?
Probably, but it doesn't matter. He punched it in. He's a burner, though. His longest run, 45 yards. Crushed it. And that was for a tub as well.
I think we figured out what's wrong with Liam. He's biased toward his
Nothing wrong.
stats.
No, absolutely not. Stats.
If
don't
you
tell
want to
the
be
whole
biased
story
towards
either.
stats, I got a
Skewed
guy for you.
stats.
I got a guy for you if you want to be biased towards stats.
Jonas
No,
Gray.
stats don't
Craig
tell the whole
James.
story. Stats don't.
No
tell
one
the whole
cares
story.
about Craig James.
Okay, I was making sure you weren't going to bring it up again.
I was going to bring up Jonas Gray. You're right.
I
Oh my
figured.
God, you're sick
I'm
of
looking
it.
at him right now.
Stats don't tell the whole story. What really tells the story of Lawrence Maroney would be the eye test. And
I
the
figured
eye
it. I finally figured it out with you two. You know what it is with you two? You're one-trick ponies. You get on one point and you ride it and you ride it and you ride it till the wheels fall
There's no
off.
trick. There's no point. There is a point.
no
The only point is Lawrence Maroney. If you are just going off the eye test, arguably the greatest running back I've ever seen.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's where. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. If we put these lists out on Twitter, I'm going to be very honest.
Well, I hope my list is 1 through 5. Lawrence Maroney, Lawrence Maroney, Lawrence Maroney, Lawrence Maroney in 2010.
You would probably get 0% of the votes with that.
Hell no. There's a cult following of Lawrence Maroney fans out there that are just harboring, laying and waiting for somebody to be like Lawrence Maroney so they can all rise
Show
up.
me one of those people.
I will. I will show you a
Please.
gaggle of them. I will show you a band of them.
Gaggle is the best term.
Yeah, a congregation of them. There's many of them. In fact, we might secede from the United States and create our own nation of Lawrence Maroney worshipers.
I cannot believe that you are this fond of
You just don't
Lawrence
understand. No,
Maroney.
we get it. We get it. You didn't watch the 2007 Patriots. You didn't watch the years following. You didn't watch the Lawrence Maroney years. We get it. You were too caught up in Tom Brady throwing all these touchdowns.
Craig
You didn't
James.
look
No,
at the
I was
running
it was
game.
actually Randy Moss. Mike, get off the Craig James thing.
You're too hung up on what
Jeepers.
happened in 1985. Look at what happened in 2009.
Liam, you're the biggest hypocrite with this because you were foaming at the mouth when I said
Yeah.
Curtis Martin, who played in the mid-90s.
Fuck yeah, he killed it.
Here, at least Mike's consistent with
Killed it.
not liking Curtis Martin and not liking Craig James. What's your excuse?
Curtis Martin was sick. What's there not to like? He's a bruiser. He's a bad man.
Yeah, but you can't make fun of one guy and not make fun of the other if you didn't
But
really see him.
I'm making fun of the dude who was around in kicking Tut's time, not Curtis Martin's time. Yeah, we're talking about Curtis Martin is a good century and a half
Okay,
after.
watch the 30 for 30 on the
I
SMU
will. I'm sure it'll be
teams,
fantastic.
and you're going to see how good Craig James was.
I'm a big fan of the Bible Belt, so I will check this out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Pray. Yeah. Hallelujah. Craig
And
James.
in the meantime, me and my band of Lawrence Maroney followers will come to your house and burn a cross on your yard.
Okay.
Listen, all I know is that Al didn't have James White on his list, and that's blasphemous.
Also didn't have Lawrence Maroney, all of which are blasphemous.
We'll see. So we definitely no.
Trust me,
no,
I'm going to have a few choice words with him after this podcast. We'll take care of this, Al. You don't need to go all Presidente on him. I got this one.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to run through you like Jonas Gray on the Colts.
Right now?
Oh, gosh.
So
that's the only example you can use because it never happened again after that.
Exactly.
Because let me ask you something. Do you guys like some songs that can be classified as one-hit wonders? Are you guys a fan of those types of songs?
Of course. St. Elmo's Fire. I bumped that in the gym.
Guess what, friends? That's Jonas Gray. And he is on my list. And you are going to take it and you are going to like it and you are going to deal with it because it is going to be on the list that wins the poll that we put out. We are going to put a poll out. Go Tuck Rule Takes on Twitter. Go check it. We're all going to retweet it. You'll see it. Vote my list. I don't know if you'll be able to know, but just vote my list. You'll know. I don't even have to tell you to vote my list.
It's the most ridiculous one on the list.
They'll know and they'll say, "Oh yeah, this is the list." That's what they'll say. As they click, they'll go, "Click, this is the list," or "This is the list." Click. That's what they'll say. So that's all I have. Do you guys have any parting thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, I think significantly less of both of you now than I do when I got on this podcast.
What?
Yep.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to cancel this podcast right after it's over.
Al's gonna make some calls like Tuck Rule isn't on the air.
You guys are getting the axe right now.
I wonder if we can get Jonas Gray on as a guest.
If you guys did that, that would actually be kind of sick. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. It's just so I can berate him. Just so I can berate him to his face, like, yo.
I'll stick up for him.
You're gonna have to because I'm gonna flip out.
But yeah, so that's it. That's your top 5 Patriots running backs list. The next couple weeks throughout the offseason, Liam and we might have other guests on. Al might show back up. I don't know though, because he didn't have James White on his list. So Al may or may not.
We'll pencil you in next Tuesday of next millennia, Al. We got you.
We will have we're gonna do our top 5, different Patriots position lists. So we'll do receivers, maybe quarterbacks to tight ends, things like that, corners, safeties,
and Patriots personalities too, like big personalities.
Patriots personalities is a good one. Yeah. I like that. We might actually, I think next week you might do that one. I like that, Patriots personalities.
Ideas, man.
But yeah, so for I am Mike Sullivan. That's Liam McDade over there. That's Al, Curtis James over there hanging out. For these two fellas, like I said, I'm Mike Sullivan. This was Tuck Rule Takes, brought to you by Couch Guy Sports. I got nothing else to say, guys. We out. Liam, God, what are you doing?
Sweet feet.
Sweet feet.